just swing that mic arm in front of you. Just watch your drink.
That's it.
And then what was it? Rocket ship? Let me double check directions.
Yeah, rocket ship. Dude, this looks awesome.
So
This could go poorly.
So no, I could, because I mean A24, they're such a
Small.
they're small. I mean, they obviously have made a good name for themselves.
Yeah, they have a huge name, but
But they obviously chose
Small.
to push Past Lives and Zone of Interest last year. For
which
this,
I mean worked.
it paid off very well.
Yeah.
If it were me, I just don't know. I was thinking about this on the way over. I was like, I don't know if they realized what they had, with Iron Claw in terms of just. I think they figured this is a good little movie.
Hey, it sounds like they're a normal big studio with that problem.
Yeah. But I just don't know if they really anticipated it connecting with audiences the way it did.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they really anticipated people making it sort of like a TikTok trend to, the before and after showing, going,
Oh yeah, dude, that's the
Which-
power of TikTok, isn't it?
which everyone I've talked to, I've said the same thing. I was like, I've not seen, I mean, I'm trying to remember the last time I saw a movie that's like stuck with me so hard. Like this many, months after I've seen it, it just blew me away. And then I rewatched it when I bought it on digital, kind of at work, just kind of when I was doing work and when, my lunch break and as I finished up, and it still got me. And the two scenes I told him about where it just broke me. I was like, it still got, I knew it was coming, and it's like, couldn't stop it.
Can't stop it. I won't stop.
Yeah, that movie wrecked us, man. Luke brought tissues, thankfully.
Well, they were my popcorn tissues.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
I
yeah.
just happened to grab a lot.
And it was like at the end, and I'm crying, and I just see a tissue pop up from my peripheral, and I was like, "Oh, thank you so much."
I think for me, what helped is, when I watched, as a kid, I watched professional wrestling, but I mean, I'd long gotten out of it. I had never heard of the Von Erichs.
This is perfect. This is how we intro every show every
Yeah,
week. Is we're always
it's perfect.
talking mid-conversation.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We don't need Brett.
Yeah.
We don't need him.
We're replacing him.
What's up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome back to another live episode. It's true, we don't have Brett, so now we should probably have Twitch chat, so when somebody tells us they can't hear us, it's not embarrassing.
I'll get that pulled up.
I'm Luke. Way over there on the other side is Tyler,
I am Tyler.
and then I will let Tyler introduce our guest.
Yeah. So we've been trying to get this gentleman on for quite some time, and it's just so happened that it worked out that Brett was going to a different country, so it was a perfect time to get Brandon on. So Brandon, thanks for joining. I guested on a show with Brandon, oh man, several years ago now.
And unfortunately, I have actually never heard the finished product of that.
I wouldn't have released it either with me on it.
No,
so.
it wasn't that it was unreleasable. My co-host for that one, it was a rather short-lived podcast called Everybody's a Critic, and Tyler was actually ended up being the last guest we had. And
I shut it down, baby.
you didn't shut it. Julian Leiby was my co-host. I went to school with him. Smart guy. He got a job at Yale.
Oh,
And
well,
so he
that'll
moved
stop
across country, and
Wow.
all the best to Julian, because I mean it's been years now, but I know he got married, and he
Good
just
for him.
didn't find time to finish editing that episode. So I've never heard the finished product.
It's in the files somewhere. It's next to Coyote versus Acme somewhere, I'm sure.
Oh man, now we have to get in there.
I would save Coyote vs. Acme before.
I would also save that before that episode. But
Okay,
no,
well,
thanks.
you guys grab the movie. I'll grab the podcast.
Okay, perfect. We have a plan. No, super happy that you were able to join us this time. I know you love the Oscars.
Yes.
So we just couldn't find a better way to do it. So yeah, we're gonna obviously talk Oscars tonight, but we generally open the show with talking about new trailers.
Yeah.
Luke usually has those written down. Luke?
Usually I do. And I do this week too.
Good,
so it's okay.
good.
First one, we got a new trailer for Fallout coming out
Yes.
at Amazon.
Yes, this looks awesome.
This does look awesome.
This is a thumbs up for me. I'm very excited. So thumbs up, thumbs down trailers. If you haven't
Okay.
watched it, you can just say you didn't watch it.
Nope,
That's
watched it. Thumbs up.
fine. Yeah, thumbs up. This
Even
looks
though
great.
I've been hit or miss on the Fallout game series,
Hey, me too.
Yeah,
but this looks yes.
yeah. I've never beat a Fallout game. Fun fact.
I don't
I
think
haven't
anyone
either.
but
I
Bethesda
love
has
the
either.
aesthetic. I love the aesthetic. I think it's awesome. So
Yeah.
if this, I hope it's good because this is probably why we're not getting more Peripheral.
Gosh dang it! I'd rather have Peripheral.
I know, I know, but it's fine. I'm looking forward to it. What do we got next, Luke?
Well, first off, our Twitch notification says, "Let's review Doom Part 2."
Perfect. Maybe that'll get more people.
Yeah, maybe it will. But that's also Brett's fault.
Yeah.
We don't know how to change that.
Yep. We're just winging it. We're just here to have a good time, talk some Oscars and trailers.
If anything goes wrong tonight, it's just Brett's fault.
It's kind of like when you're at your job and someone leaves, and then something goes wrong. You just always naturally blame that
It's like,
person
oh
who
yeah,
left.
they're on vacation.
I've actually given my team permission that if I ever leave my job, like once I leave, you guys can blame everything on me. Like it's fine because I'm not there anymore.
What a great boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, that's how I do it. So
yeah,
Brett's
I'm-
not here, so we will blame Brett for everything.
Where is Brett at?
He's in Peru.
Yeah, he's in Peru.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep, he went with our church
Oh, very good.
little
Okay.
trip. So he'll be back this upcoming weekend. So he should be back on the show next week, unless he's sick. In which case,
We'll get him on.
yeah, we'll find a way. We'll drag him on. What's the next trailer?
Got another trailer for 3 Body Problem.
Yeah, I did not watch this trailer. I did watch the first trailer for this,
Yeah.
and I think it's interesting. I did read the book recently. I joined a book club and read it, and I really like the book. I actually just bought the second book. It's a very interesting look at like a first contact story because it's told from Eastern thoughts, Eastern science. So it's a little different than what we're used to. I'm very curious how this will be adapted.
Yeah. I really liked the new trailer.
Yeah.
I thought it kind of felt a little more simple. Like
It's-
the other trailer is just like, what is going on with this?
Yeah, it's really not as complex as I think it can be kind of conveyed.
Yeah.
Because really it's like, hey, what's this do? We shot a message into space. Somebody responded. Okay, now what? So like
shoot a
that's
message in space.
that's really what it is. And obviously there's a lot more intricacies.
Isn't that the plot to
intricacies.
Pixels?
I actually haven't seen that movie.
They shoot the message into space, but it also has 80s video games stuff.
Oh,
It's like a time capsule into space or something.
I've not seen it.
Yeah, that's the Adam Sandler movie, right?
Yeah.
didn't
I haven't
see
seen it
either.
either.
I'm gonna
But the
I'm
whole
gonna say yes.
shooting messages in space. I mean, you said isn't that that's the plot to Contact?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I know, but they came back as like Galaga,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
But also, I heard that movie was horrible, so I never watched it.
Yeah. But no, I having not watched this trailer, this is the Game of Thrones creators, so this is what they left Game of Thrones for. So I know there's a lot of like apprehension
They
about
have
it.
source material.
They have source material. It's complete. I think that's a bigger part of this. It is a complete story, and it's a really good one. So I'm very interested in the show.
Well, then that begs the question then, because when we look at Game of Thrones, if it's from the creators, most people obviously remember the last couple seasons as being
Exactly,
bad because
yeah.
there's nothing to finish it. So do you think that it's more likely that they did well because they have a complete source material to work
I think
off of?
so. I think so. I think it gives you I think there's less reason to be apprehensive with it. I think it'll be pretty good. It is different though. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Very weird.
I'm curious what visual Netflix is going to give us.
Yeah.
They've been on a huge green screen volume.
And there's a
trend.
really interesting mild spoilers for Three Body Problem, but there's a really interesting like VR video game within the book called Three Body, and they're trying to solve the three body problem within this game.
Video game movie.
And
Video
it's-
game show.
It's weird. It's very strange. It's very strange. I'm very curious to see what it'll look like.
When was the book written?
It was translated for English in I think 14, so probably early 2000s
Okay.
or late 20 like early 2010s. So, but it's good. I'm looking forward to it.
Cool.
I like the first trailer. I'm sure I'll like this one too. So,
Sweet.
What's
I-
next?
I didn't watch the
You didn't
trailer.
it?
No.
Okay.
Inside Out 2 had also another trailer.
Thumbs up for this one.
It's a big thumbs up for me.
I'm ready to be hurt in all the right ways.
I think the only thing that would have caused me to be a thumbs down was that Hader and Kaling aren't back for their respective fear and disgust emotions. So, but I loved the first one, and this is a property that I don't think Pixar can. At least not in a sequel, they can't mess up. Maybe if they
Let's
pump out
hope
another
not.
3 or 4.
Let's hope
I
not.
just think, I mean, it's ripe for great, great sentimentality. It's just
Oh, yeah.
it's ready. Yeah, it's ready to roll. I think.
I'm ready to be hurt because now having kids, I feel like it's just gonna be so different.
You're gonna be a
I'm gonna be
such a sucker
mess.
during this movie, man.
It's gonna be bad, man. I
I
can't
mean,
wait.
knowing that she's entering puberty and feeling all these new emotions. I mean, I have a stepdaughter who's 11, and I'm
Yeah,
seeing,
that's gonna
so
mess you up.
It's gonna so it's. I'm really looking forward. I'm wondering if I can get her to come along too, because she's
That
at
might
an
be
age where-
emotionally irresponsible, but a really good time.
I mean, she's a good kid, so
Yeah. I've met her. She's a good kid.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I don't envy that. Is there any other trailers this week?
Did chat bring any up? Is
I don't think
anybody
so.
in chat?
Yeah, Baroque's in chat. Shout out Baroque. Couple comments. My favorite thing about the Fallout is how it's so bad at being a shooter that they let you pause time just so you can hit stuff. Amen.
And it
Fair
still
point.
just misses for you.
Yeah, it just gives you a chance.
Ooh, I have a 98% chance to hit the head, and I'm 20 feet away.
Yeah.
It's like,
Miss.
come
And then
on.
he said, that's the plot to Jimmy Neutron.
all I'm hearing is stolen idea.
Yeah.
Stolen idea. Like,
Stolen idea after stolen idea. So,
Dude, I remember seeing that Jimmy Neutron. I'm assuming he's talking about Jimmy Neutron, the movie.
probably.
Dude, I saw that in theaters. Pretty sure I dragged my parents to that, and they're probably like, "Oh my gosh, this sucks."
But hey, they did it for you.
Oh, Jimmy! Oh,
Jimmy's mom! Yeah, dude, Jimmy Neutron's... That's a show. That is a show and a half.
Ugh, good times.
But,
Oh, dude, I wonder. I should go back and just look at the animation because it was like the 3D
yeah,
CG
it was like
kind
the
of style.
computer...
I bet it looks
yeah,
so bad now.
Yeah.
the computer-generated
Yeah.
stuff, yeah. And not like the good kind. Yeah, oh man. It probably looks like all the Disney Plus, like, $5 shows they throw on there for nothing. That just looks so bad.
Yeah.
But
Watching those Saturday and Sunday mornings right now. So
hey, we all got to get through it at some point. So I guess we could jump into the Oscars, right? I mean, that's the meat of the show this week.
I guess we could. Yeah.
We could. Speaking of shows, right?
Yeah. Speaking of
So-
shows.
Do you want to open it with a monologue?
No.
No.
As the person whose suggestion is get rid of the monologue.
So
Not that it was that bad. Personally, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I thought it was fine. I laughed.
Yeah.
But I don't need it.
So this is the 96th Oscars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the monologue. Let's start there. What did you guys think? Luke's giving his thoughts. Brandon, what did you think of the monologue? Are you in the internet craze of hating Jimmy now?
Not really. I mean, to be fair, I've Jimmy Kimmel's never necessarily been. He's never really been my. I didn't watch the Man Show when it was the thing. With him and Adam Carolla. Never really watched his late night show. For the record, I've always been a Conan O'Brien guy. So.
Ooh, rivalry.
Yeah. Start a fight.
But I was actually talking to somebody about this earlier this morning. It's like I think for the most part these hosts they're kind of you're almost in a no-win situation right now because if you do well, most people are gonna say, well, he was fine or she was fine.
Yeah.
And if you are not good,
Yeah,
make
you're-
this tiniest little mistake, you're horrendous, you're horrible. Because in this case, they were people I was talking about this with weren't really happy with his jokes at Robert Downey Jr.
RDJ,
Oh, I
yeah.
thought that was funny.
Which I
Yeah.
thought I thought he played along. I was thinking he was playing along with it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I
and
thought
maybe,
too.
I mean, maybe at first he was, and then maybe it's the second.
Maybe it
one
just
he-
went on a little long, yeah.
But knowing that he sort of he's brought it up before.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Downey Jr. is his past, but not so much in the last couple of years. You know, when interviewers kind of broach the topic, he kind of steers away from it. But I don't know. I was like, I didn't find that to be a reason to say like he did a terrible job. But again, my perspective, I take or leave Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think with too, like him and Jimmy are friends. Like I think they know. You know, he was like, all right, let's keep it moving. Like,
Yeah.
it's going a little long. I don't think he's gonna go home and lose sleep over it. I think they're both fine.
I did say I would have been surprised if Robert Downey Jr. wasn't aware that maybe he didn't know exactly what was going to be said. But,
Oh, I'm sure.
But
Like,
hey,
a joke was
we're
gonna be
gonna
made.
we're gonna make you're here, you're gonna get you're probably gonna win.
I mean, there's so many bits
Yeah.
You know,
that are supposed to feel natural, but I mean, they're like the Steven Spielberg,
Yeah.
the being sent nudes from Kate McKinnon.
Yeah.
well, that was great.
That was one of the best
amazing.
jokes of the night.
Amazing.
But, I think I do subscribe a little bit to the theory that, especially on Oscar night, like the people are all there. You can withstand the tiniest bit of heat, if that's what you want to call a joke at your own. You know, when you've joked before about even later in your acceptance speech about you were a wounded animal, dog being
Called his wife his veterinarian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was very mild to me, and I think at the end of the day, if you're not gonna bring in somebody like Ricky Gervais to just completely trash everybody to their
You
face,
are all pieces of garbage. You're human trash. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Good night.
yeah. Then I mean, you want somebody who's not gonna come in and have the
the boat
headlines
tonight,
be, oh my gosh, how horrible they were yesterday.
And like, if you can't withstand a little bit of roasting, I don't know, there might be more of a mental problem there.
Yeah, and I
personally,
I feel like to be an actor in Hollywood, you gotta have some thick skin. RDJ's been through some stuff. That's probably the easiest it's ever been for him, honestly.
and I mean, if you're really upset about it, just go up on stage and slap him.
Yeah, that seemed to work last time. I mean, nothing bad came of that, right?
No, nothing.
But no, I thought Kimmel was fine. I laughed at a lot of the stuff. I thought he was funny. I think my favorite running gag through the whole show is just him trying to prolong the show.
yeah.
Like,
Because they had extra
Yeah,
time.
I just thought that was so funny. He's like, if you didn't feel like you got enough time, come on up, or if you just have something to say, like, I loved the bit of him trying to like pretend he was gonna push the show longer.
yeah.
I just thought that was funny, but
Ironically, the only joke that I am tired of, which I think is kind of on the internet too, and I keep people saying, it's like, we don't need to keep joking that movies are really long.
yeah,
It's like, okay.
it just is. That just is what it is now.
It's like one of the biggest movies of the year was 3 hours this year. People don't care.
Right.
Just want a good movie.
I think exactly. I think they don't care if it doesn't feel like it's 3 hours long. So
Yeah.
I mean, we did. I think I talked to you about it. My wife and kids and I, we did Barbie, and then my wife and I did Oppenheimer the same day.
Yep.
It was great. It was a great day at the movies.
Great day.
Yeah,
I remember. I think when I saw the Batman in, what was it, 2022, right?
21.
21. Okay, see.
Yeah,
I don't
21.
remember.
I mean, that did not feel like 3 hours.
No.
So
The movie moves.
Yeah.
So if it's paced well and nothing is wasted, people are gonna want more. Like,
If
I walked out
anything,
of that
yeah.
going, I need more.
Let's make the joke that we've been joking on here the last several weeks. I feel like that, like, let's just bring intermissions back to movies.
Yeah,
Allow people the chance to go to the bathroom,
I'm
so they don't
down.
have to feel bad about getting up.
I'm on board. So yeah, overall, I thought Kimmel was good. I guess before we get into awards, I do want to talk about performances. The John Cena bit,
Great.
I think, was awesome.
That man must be fearless.
I think he
Or
just
he
has-
truly thought he was invisible.
I think that's my favorite running. Like,
Yeah, I don't know what you guys talk about. I just saw an envelope come
Yeah.
out.
Just hovering across, like, wow, this is movie magic.
Yeah, it was. He is seriously like. I think he's just living side quests out at this point. Like, he's in everything. He just shows up. He wrestles. Like, I love the bit. You wrestle naked? He's like, no, I wrestle in jorts. He's like, that's worse. Like, I love that, John Cena is one of those dudes that there is no joke he's not willing to be a part of.
He's not afraid of a roast.
He does come across as being basically up for anything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think, I say that and you take a look at even his body of work, you're like, boy, you're really up for anything.
Did
Yeah.
Ricky Stanicky just come out or whatever?
I think so, yeah. And apparently it's not good review-wise, which is pretty on brand for those kind of movies. So, yeah, no, I thought that bit was fun.
And I read something today that it could have been also a little. I don't know if the right word is pointed, but really trying to call attention to the fact that costuming and makeup, that's all important because they're getting ready. That union is getting ready to enter its own negotiations.
Let's go. Do it.
So
Yeah.
and again, I'm firmly in the pro union camp. These people all the studios all get huge slices of money. Let's just get the workers what they're worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we want good quality content, we need to pay the good people what they're worth to continue getting it. So
Absolutely. No, that's a nice way to do it. And speaking of that, they did another thing last night that I thought was incredible. The stunt, kind of just call out, basically calling out stuntmen.
I was so hoping that the end of that, the end of the speech would have been like, and starting in X year, like
Next year, Oscars will be the first ever stunt award.
Yeah.
Honestly,
long
I
overdue.
loved it, and it was a blown opportunity. You
Yeah.
could have just brought the house down with that right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
It's yeah. You said it. It's long overdue. Luke's been saying it as long as I've known him.
I mean, again, hats off to taking some time out of the
Yeah.
ceremony to
Better than they've done before.
yeah.
At least they acknowledge that like
But this was
it's there.
this wasn't even when I talk to people, it's like, well, let's get pointed in the right early. Let's take baby steps if we want to have progress on anything. Whether you're at work and it's a huge project, well, sometimes you got to take some baby steps. No, this was all you did was point yourself in the right direction when you could have taken a legitimate step.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's like the idea is there. Obviously, they're thinking about it. And I think that's probably the biggest takeaway is like I think they recognize that it's a gap. I think that's kind of what that tells me.
I mean, they added an extra hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many movies coming out that that are either popular box office generated monsters, or they're critically acclaimed, sometimes both, featuring phenomenal stunt work. And I
even
mean,
in movies you don't even really realize. Like I didn't see it, but I imagine Ferrari had a driving stunt.
I would imagine I didn't see it either, and I'm a huge Adam Driver nerd.
Yeah, I know. I haven't seen it. But yeah, you're right. Like it's not always right in front of your face. It's not always John Wick, right? Like there's more to it than that. And I think, like, I don't know. Long overdue is the best way to say it. Like I think it has to happen.
Also, Emily Blunt, love of my life, and Ryan Gosling were
They're a little bit
very funny.
Yeah, it was really good. And obviously, speaking of Ryan Gosling, we have to hit the I'm Just Ken performance. Incredible.
Yeah.
I would love a team up of Ryan Gosling and John Cena.
Dude, yes. I'm here for it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I don't know what it looks like, but let's do it. I'm so down.
I mean,
Buddy cop
performance
movie.
of the night. I mean, from all the original songs. I mean, and obviously Gosling's not a singer, so he's not going to come. He's not going to be Billie Eilish on the microphone or
Right.
anything. But I mean,
Sorry,
It's uncanny.
She's very good writer and singer. But both of her Oscar wins are super breathy, slow.
Songs, yeah.
It's just like, okay.
but he did have the the best performance of the night from the song perspective, and I was just happy to see that his Kens were with him because
That was awesome.
I was
yeah.
wondering if like, come on now. I mean, Samu Liu and who
Ben.
is it? It's not Ben.
Kingsley.
Kingsley Adair.
Adair,
I was
yeah.
going to say Ben Kingsley, but I was like, no, that's not
Yeah,
him.
it didn't feel right.
I mean, they're kind of big enough stars in their own right that it would have, I would have been like, okay, well, it makes sense they wouldn't be up there with them because.
Yeah.
Kingsley bin Adair.
Okay.
Oh, there is a Ben.
Yeah, it's the middle name.
But I was so happy to see him and then Scott Evans,
Yeah.
Chris Evans' brother.
Yeah.
they added to it, and it just was.
Yeah.
The crowd work was great. Going out in the crowd, getting them,
Having
some
the-
Dude, did
sometimes
the
it can be so
videos
stuffy,
of Scorsese during that are so funny.
He was so happy.
Yeah.
He was loving it.
And it's great when they can do something like that because again, I love watching the Oscars, but I can call a spade a spade. That room can get quite stuffy sometimes, and like they just need to let loose a little bit. Like they need to bring a little bit more of the Golden Globes atmosphere at times to the
I
Oscars.
said it last
Yeah,
night.
get him drunk.
I said it last
just the
night.
jovial,
honestly.
yeah.
Well, Pacino was probably pretty drunk.
Well, we'll get to that.
I think he's just old.
But I was saying last night when the I'm Just Ken performance was happening, I was like, man, this is what the Oscars needs. Like,
Yeah.
it needs a little bit of excitement here and there because I think it just makes it fun. Like Luke was saying last night, the most fun moment prior to this was probably the mix up for Best Picture. Some years back.
Still my favorite Oscar
Yeah,
moment.
like but like having big moments would be fun every now and again, right? Like, and I think I'm Just Ken was that.
Just, oh man, the chaos of announcing
The wrong movie.
the biggest award of the night got messed up, and everybody's
Dude, that was quite the moment.
oh, it gave me such joy.
So Baroque's got a couple comments. Cena is a guy I hated as a wrestler, but I love him post wrestling.
Brooke, did you hate him as a wrestler because he won and everything? Like, because it was when I did watch wrestling, you know, it was when The Rock was still popular, and of course he went from being this uber fan favorite to like, even when he was still the good guy, you hated watching because you knew he was gonna win.
Right.
And so I'd be interested to know if he ends up answering my question. Do you hate him because he won all the time?
He'll answer you. And then he said, almost all of the driving in Ferrari looked real to me, so I would wager there was a fair bit of stunt driving. And then he won everything. That's yeah. And then he said, Ben Kingsley and Kingsley Ben Adir not being related doesn't make sense to me. Fair.
Distant
Fair.
distant relation.
So was there any other performances you guys wanted to highlight before we can like move into some of these awards? I think obviously the one from Killers of the Flower Moon was awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome stage.
Had to
Native
go back and
Americans.
watch that because that was unfortunately during
Bedtime.
getting all the kids wrangled for bedtime.
So we recorded it and watched it. We started it late, so we were like fast forwarding through the commercials and stuff.
It's great. It was one of the best Oscars I've ever watched.
I think it's the best.
Zero
way to do
commercials.
It. Yeah.
Oh.
It was so nice. Yeah. And honestly, it was a nice like 2.5, 3 hour break from my phone too.
Yeah,
because we didn't look at social media, so we wouldn't spoil anything for ourselves. So it was just nice. Just threw my phone on the couch and pretty much just sat there. But yeah, any other performances you guys want to highlight before we move into the awards? I mean, for me, I think the Osage one was just so cool.
Yeah.
No.
I can't even remember if there was any other performances. I guess John Baptiste performed. He was fine.
And Billie Eilish. I just cue that up so you can do that.
Is that my new cue up instead of whenever somebody brings up The Mandalorian?
So Luke is the king of sound effects. If you've not caught on,
I do. I mean, every week my listening, because I can't watch it live. My listening takes place after I drop my kids off at daycare and on like my 20-minute car ride to work.
So you listen to it in segments?
It's in segments, and so then it's the 20-minute car ride from work to pick up the kids because I can't listen to Harrison talks my ear off the entire time. Because he's at that, he's like almost 3, and so it's just, if I don't answer him, he's screaming at me.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't even try to listen to anything I want to listen to.
Yeah.
No. So let's get into some of these wins.
And losses.
And losses, yeah. So, obviously, I think we can start with Luke's favorite category, being sound. So Luke loves that sound was put into one category.
No, I don't.
I don't think
I found it disgraceful.
Brandon doesn't seem to like it either.
Oh, I don't.
You're taking 2 completely different awards and putting them together.
Didn't I message you about this?
Yes.
What? So if you don't know already, I tend to, because I obviously have Tyler's number, so I tend to, like when I'm listening, and if I have thoughts in the moment, I'm like, I totally agree with this. And so
out of nowhere. So I'm like, what do you agree with? I'm very confused. He texted me the other day. He's like, Madam Web review. Thumbs up. And I was like, what part? Like
all of it.
Great movie.
Everything you guys said about it was just, I was like, I haven't even seen the movie and I will never see it. I was like, I've already seen it. I don't need to see anymore. I don't need to hear anymore.
Brilliant.
But yeah, it was the episode, of your guys' show when you're discussing
my little rant about it.
Well, it all made sense to me. Like it's perfect because again, you're taking two things that serve 2 totally different purposes and you're lumping them together, and it doesn't work that way. And I off the top of my head, I cannot remember the analogy you used. But I'm like, oh my freaking god, that makes so much sense.
I think it was sound editing is writing, and sound mixing is directing.
Yeah.
And you can't do that as one award. You have a creator and a project manager,
right?
Yeah.
And I hate it. And like just recently as last week, I loved Dune 2, but I did not like the sound mixing. And it has great sound effects that are put in the movie, but when you take all the different parts and don't blend it together well,
it sticks out. Yeah,
they're so different.
Yeah,
Please
Luke.
separate them again.
So, in this category, we had The Creator, Maestro, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, Oppenheimer, and Zone of Interest. Zone of Interest being the winner. I have not seen Zone of Interest, so I can't speak to that. But I did really want The Creator to win everything it was nommed for.
Yeah.
I will be honest.
I think I just always kind of pull for the sci-fi movies.
Yeah, naturally they need it.
I haven't seen the Zone of Interest either. I had predicted Oppenheimer in this one.
Wouldn't have been a bad win, honestly.
I just felt like it was such a juggernaut heading into everything. It's like I think there's a couple of awards that it was nominated for that it wasn't going to win, that they were going to try to spread the wealth a little bit. And I think it was one that the Academy decided to, but I had picked it in the Zone of Interest one, so it was a little surprising to me.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't need to spend time on it, but did either of you guys watch The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar?
Yes.
Nope.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Good. Well, it won live action short film. Animated short film is War is Over, which, did you watch that?
I did not watch that. I did pick that, not necessarily because I'm a Beatles fan, because people.
I was going to say, it's because you're a Beatles fan.
People who know. John's my least favorite Beatle.
Oh, okay.
So
maybe a hot take.
But Yoko.
Without devoting too much time to this.
So this dude is a Beatles super fan. His son's name is Harrison.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and my baby girl's middle name is McCartney. So, if that gives you a hint of my two favorite,
They might be like your third or fourth favorite band.
I'm just glad my wife was on board with the name. So,
I mean, it helps that they're cool names.
Yeah, they're good names, so it works.
I mean, let's just be real. I mean, without getting into too much, Lennon has a very troubled past. He has some very disturbing things in his, that I think if he were alive today, he would have already accounted for. But it doesn't take away that things have happened. And I've never truly blamed Yoko for the breakup of the Beatles. So many things, honestly, so many things were happening that, I mean, even now, Paul's like, we were well on the road to splitting up. She maybe intensified it at certain times, but it was going to happen. But that's that.
So, did you watch War is Over? No?
I did not watch it. I was going to say real quick on the Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. I mean, I think we all kind of like Wes Anderson here.
Never seen a movie.
I saw my first one last year.
Okay. I think he
and I loved it.
He
I
has
thought it
some
was
good
awesome.
works. He has,
Yeah.
but he also has some stuff. I'm like, boy, this was kind of boring. But I can't help but feel a little sorry for the people who are nominated in that category with them, because like
Losing to
it's
like an all-time
Wes
director.
I kind of
Anderson.
said that when it was like popping up. I was like, man, it's not fair that he's in this category.
He has. I mean, for a short film budget, probably. I mean, on par with like a lower budgeted studio movie.
And Netflix money.
Yeah.
And Netflix
They
money.
love to overspend.
And Benedict Cumberbatch starring it. Like you have all these things going for it that your competition in the category doesn't, and it's very flashy, and it probably got the attention of a lot of voters. And I mean, historically, if any of us here kind of look into the behind the scenes of how things go, a lot of people don't watch some of these things that they're voting on because they just vote for, oh, this is the big name. I see that every year Variety has their own, like, the ballots of different people. They keep it anonymous, that they get voting ballots of different Oscar voters, and so many times like, I didn't watch all the animated movies, but I'm going to vote for the Pixar one because it's Pixar.
That's crazy.
Seems like a lot of people on the internet are complaining about the anime.
Yeah, we can get into that here in a little bit.
But I just wanted to comment. I mean, I liked it. I'm not upset that it won. I just was, because I didn't watch most of the other shorts, but I was like, man, feel bad for some of these people who this might be their only opportunity to get some recognition.
Yeah, because you never know when you're going to be back there, right? Like, that's such a hard place to get, especially with short films. So there's so many every year. Costume design went to Poor Things.
Corset movie.
Luke's corset movie. Feels like it's always that movie.
Always mark it down.
I did have that. Nice.
Did you watch Poor Things?
I did.
Did you like it?
Loved it.
Okay. So I don't think it's a movie for me, personally. I was kind of having this conversation with somebody today. I think, look, I'm sure Poor Things is great. Honestly, I really am. It's just not my kind of movie. I know that, and I'm just not going to watch it. And Poor Things is the Mad Max of this year. I feel like it just kind of won everything.
Cleans up all the
like the other categories.
production awards.
Yeah, like it just absolutely raked in awards this year. It was crazy. So again, I'm sure it's great. I've not seen it. I probably won't see it. Unless
Same.
one day I come home and Dana's like, "Hey, you want to watch that?" And I'd be like, "What?"
You're like, you want to watch it?
Yeah. Visual effects. This one was cool. I think this is one of my highlights of the night. Godzilla -1 was the winner. I would have loved it to be the creator. If I had a second choice, it would have been Godzilla -1. So really cool there. Loved that they all brought Godzilla toys up there with them.
And their Godzilla shoes.
And their Godzilla shoes. Like, I love it. And I saw a meme today. It was like, this guy's 70 years old before he won his first Oscar. Don't let anything hold you back. And it was a picture of Godzilla. So, like, it's just amazing. Like, it's amazing that that movie got the recognition it did, being, especially in America. I mean, it's my favorite Godzilla movie I've seen. I just think it's so good. I cannot wait for that physical release.
Yeah.
I'm so glad
That was one of the best movies of the year.
it was, seriously, and I'm so glad they got their media or their physical release distribution thing set up for the U.S. because I know that was kind of a concern. I'm so glad that got taken care of. But the creator obviously strikes out after being a loser in this category.
Tough year for sci-fi.
It was a tough year.
But great year for sci-no-fi. Non-fi.
Science movies.
Well, fiction, non-fiction is what I'm going for.
Oh, okay.
Oppenheimer's a science movie. So.
Yeah. So yeah,
And
Godzilla.
Poor Things would be science fiction.
I mean, would you guys classify Godzilla -1 as a little bit of sci-fi?
I think so.
Maybe on the fringe a little bit.
I think it's there. I mean, it's a giant lizard.
This was actually my prediction for the category. I went with.
You went with Godzilla?
I did, yeah.
Nice.
Just looked at the creator had some really mixed reviews, whereas
It did.
Godzilla -1 was
People were raving pretty
Yeah.
hard.
and
Myself
again just
included.
figuring that you get the sway, like, yeah, there was a lot of pomp behind the creator, but then it kind of fizzled. It's like, is that going to be held against it? And that
I think too the budget of Godzilla helps it too, with it being so low and it looking as good as it does.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm sure, every person who's, especially on the crew side of things, they see that and they're like, how? Right? Like, how they do that? So, yeah, I mean, I wasn't, like, sad the creator didn't win. I was just like, man, I really wish the creator could have got one because sci-fi movies need that love, I think, because they just don't happen as often anymore. Makeup and hairstyling, Poor Things. I don't think that's a surprise. They showed the picture of Willem Dafoe, and you're like, holy cow.
I had actually predicted Maestro on this one, figuring that this would have been the one thing that they would kind of throw.
Throw Bradley Cooper a bone.
Like, okay, Bradley Cooper, calm down. Here you go.
I mean, looking
Here's an
at,
Oscar for you, but actually your crew.
Yeah, I mean, but looking at his, the transformation, into
His
the
makeup when he's old is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it
so
looks awesome.
It's probably the only thing that's good about that movie.
yeah.
Oh, did
not
you?
like-
I didn't watch it.
Oh, I thought I finally had somebody on my side.
I didn't watch it because of how mid you said the movie was.
Oh my gosh, dude.
To coin a
Well,
phrase
you
that
guys
I
are
don't
both
usually-
music people, too. So I feel like, because I remember Brett watched it and was like, Luke, I think you'll like it more. And then Luke watched it and was like, I don't like it. And Luke's a big music person, much like you are.
Yeah.
So I feel like you'd probably align more with Luke's review of it.
I mean, I probably would, just given, again, when I do listen, I'm like, I'm agreeing with a lot of what this guy says.
I don't understand. You can make a movie about somebody and just not go into anything about who he is, just like what he is.
yeah, I think you
Guy who composed music and he's gay.
Yeah.
It's like, cool. I knew that already.
Yeah.
But like, how is he?
Yeah.
How did he make it through this? Oh, movie's over. He's old.
Yeah. And I think I was going to bring that up, that you had mentioned that last night with Maestro, just being like, yeah, it kind of just felt like I read a headline about him, and that was pretty much it.
I compared it to a third-grade book report.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you said a book report. International feature film, The Zone of Interest.
It was nominated for Best Picture.
I was going to say, this is the age-old.
Happens every year.
Yeah, it's the age-old. It's nominated for Best Picture, so it's probably going to win.
Dude, I'm waiting for some year, though, where an international film's nominated for Best Picture, and then a different one wins International Picture. It's like people mixed up their voting
They're
or
voting,
something.
yeah. This one was cool just because I loved the speech after, but documentary short film, The Last Repair Shop. Talking about free musical instrument repair in inner city schools in LA. I would love to watch this.
Yes.
I think this is a really cool kind of opportunity for it. I think it's a great way to bring attention to it. Have you seen this?
I have not. Of the nominees, I got to see the ABC's book banning. Sorry, and that was what I had predicted to win.
Based on having it be the only one you'd seen.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, dude, that happens.
but I was like, it was good. So
Yeah.
I'm like, if it wins, great.
Right. Documentary feature film, 20 Days in Mariupol. Hell of a speech after winning this. You could tell that dude was hurting to say all that. And I thought that was a super powerful moment for the Oscars. I think there's a lot of people upset about how people chose to or not to use their platform. We won't get into that, but I will say that this dude used his platform and he went for it. And I think that was awesome. I loved his kind of notion of like, I wish I never made this. It's like, I'm happy that it's bringing attention. I'm happy that this will be remembered, but I really wish I didn't have to make it. And I just think that, again, it's another one of those moments. It's just powerful and sticks with you when the show's over. And I just think that's so cool. We're getting into some of the bigger ones here. Film editing. Oppenheimer took this one home. Of the nominees, Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. I thought Poor Things was going to steal this one too. Because this was like in the middle of it.
It's what it was doing.
I was going to say, it was in the middle of it just
Poor Things.
snatching everything. You're like, holy cow, this thing's going to clean up. It might win Best Picture at this rate.
This is on the technical side. This is where I had predicted Oppenheimer because I was like, there's just, when it comes to the actual getting to the film portion of it, you know, so not necessarily production design or costume and makeup, all that stuff. I was like, this is where Oppenheimer's going to start its, not necessarily start its run because I don't remember the order of the awarding, but I was like, this was going to be where it got going.
Yeah, this is where it's like, okay, now the shoes are going to start to drop a little bit here.
Because I'm trying to remember, again, I can't remember the order of awards, but if this was before supporting actor, I was like, well, this is going to be Oppenheimer's first. But if it was after supporting actor, there's enough in between.
After.
Well, then there was enough in between where I was like, well, this is where it's going to get its its run going.
Yeah, so I kind of made the joke. This is because they had to cut down the 11-mile film roll to make the movie. Production design, Poor Things won this one. I thought Barbie would win this.
I was a little surprised. I had predicted Barbie.
Did you think
on
Barbie
this.
would win here?
I have no idea what I was thinking. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't fill out a ballot this year. I just showed up at your house to watch. Honestly, I might have enjoyed that a little more.
Just so you're not
Might keep that trend going.
keeping tally. Yeah, so it was Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I really thought Barbie would win in this category. I thought if it was going to win any awards outside of like a song, I felt like this was the one it would win because it's so wild to me how they brought toys to life in that movie. Basically, the dream house, all of that stuff. I was like, this is crazy, real set. Like it's just so bizarre.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like sad it didn't win, but I was kind of surprised.
No, he's lying. He was crying for
I
like 5
cried.
minutes. We had to pause it.
Because he couldn't see the screen, because he couldn't see through his tears. Did you have Barbie winning this?
I did have Barbie win.
Yeah.
So I wasn't like, oh my goodness, Barbie was robbed, because I have thoughts on Barbie in and of itself through the entire awards, but I definitely thought like, well, there's no way it's gonna win its screenplay nomination, and when we get to it, we can talk about it then. But I was like, this is a great opportunity to once again show some love for a movie that I don't think I remember you guys were talking about your prediction episodes, and somebody had the prediction, Barbie was going to make money, but it was you.
I had it making more money than Black Adam.
Which, bravo, but
which in hindsight feels like a cheap win, but
you didn't have it making over $1 billion.
No, I had it over
highest grossing movie of all time.
I had it over 450 million, I think,
which would have been a very good return for it. So yeah, I just thought this was a perfect opportunity to begin like, hey, you guys you made a great movie.
You did the thing.
You did a great, you made more than we thought we were gonna make. You critics loved it. Everything about. Here you go. Here's something for you because you're obviously not gonna win Best Picture. So.
Yeah. We got a couple comments here I want to hit on in the chat real quick. Amin 22322. You guys should check out the Goat Life movie trailer. It just dropped. Coming out March 28th. The trailer is amazing. Each frame is shot beautifully. Noted.
Goat life.
We'll check it out. And then Baroque says the trick to Godzilla looking so good on a budget is that the team just went out and filmed a kaiju they had hidden out in the ocean. Makes perfect sense, honestly.
Well, I don't know if it deserves special effects anymore, though. Sorry.
Creator was snubbed.
If you're gonna lie to me and that thing was actually real, Kate McKinnon's probably gonna send nudes to Godzilla now.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh no, she was sending them to Jeff Goldblum. Who
That's
doesn't
right.
exist.
No, Steven Spielberg.
Well, she thought it was Jeff Goldblum, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then she was
That's
like, if
right,
he's
that's
not
right.
real, who was I sending them to? And then that's when Spielberg was like... music, very quickly. Oppenheimer, one original score.
Mm-hmm.
And What Was I Made For, one original song. Cue the music.
It's a great song. I'm not trying to bash it.
I do want to talk about original score. Luke and I kind of talked about this last night when we were watching, but Indiana Jones getting nominated in this category. We kind of made the comment like John Williams is just nominated for everything at this point, even if it's not that good.
Boy in the Heron. Boy in the Heron.
Yeah. I remember you guys talking about the score for that. I'm kind of surprised.
It's
not
like
here.
my only true, I think, snub I truly believe in.
Is that didn't get a music
That it didn't get a nomination
for
for
score.
music, yeah.
What did you did you have Oppenheimer winning this?
I did, yes.
Yeah, I love the Oppenheimer score. Luke, there's something in it that Luke doesn't like, but I won't let him tell me what it is because I don't want to hear it. Because there's something in it that he hears that I'm not allowed to know about because I don't want it to ruin it for me.
Once I tell him about it, it will never go away.
Yeah, and so I don't ever let him tell me. And because you're in the room, he's not gonna, or because I'm in the room, he's not gonna tell you either.
I don't want that though to diminish how good the score is.
Okay.
It's still a great score. Ludwig is awesome.
Yeah.
But it's just one. It's like he might only be in the movie like 2 times, but it's like I think it's in like the most commonly played song and all that stuff, and I hear it every time. It's just like
Yeah, and I will say, I say this often off camera. I'm gonna say it here on camera. Luke has an ear for stuff that I just don't understand how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll listen to something and Luke will be like, "Go back to that," and he'll like pinpoint this exact sound and he'll be like, "That's this," and I'm like, "What?" And he's right, like 99% of the time. I'm like, "This is the dumbest thing ever. How does he do that?"
Okay.
So when Luke notices something like that, yeah, take the compliment. It blows my mind. So
I was rooting for Killers of the Flower Moon.
I still need to watch that movie. Animated feature film. This is where The Boy and the Heron won. This is the internet kind of craze. One of them.
Dude, the
Going
actor
on.
from the movie. And
Yeah,
he kind of
Shamik
joked
Moore.
about it too, but
Yeah. Shamik Moore was saying that he posted snubbed at first, I think.
he
right?
said robbed.
Robbed, that's it.
Yeah.
And then it's so funny, you hear him say that, and then you hear
Everybody on Twitter.
the director of Across the Spider-Verse came out and he's like, if you're gonna lose, it's cool to lose to the GOAT.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's like, it's okay. Like, we're nommed. That's the award.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I've said this a bunch of times, but like, if you're nominated here, that's a win.
It's a win, yeah.
That's huge. I mean, that's a huge honor.
Congratulations. You're one of the 10 best movies of the thousands that came out this year.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Or 5 best scores.
Right.
Production designs. Scripts.
Animated films.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. But did you watch The Boy and the Heron?
I have not seen it yet, no.
Okay, me either.
I do, I really love Miyazaki's movies. I had picked Spider-Verse to win this one. So when they read it, I was pleasantly surprised because I know the last time he'd won was for Spirited Away, which of his works, I mean, I'm sure people who watch this will be like, oh, it's not even his best, but to me, it's my favorite of what he's done.
The only one I've seen is Boy and the Heron.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to watch some more of those.
Yeah. I think every single one is in my HBO Max list.
Might be time to start ticking some of those off.
If I had one on lock, it's like I'm locking this one in, or I'm putting money on this one, it would have been this category.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, without a doubt. Boy
Yeah,
and the
without
Heron.
a doubt.
Nice. Amin asks, do you guys react to trailers on stream or off stream? We've not done a traditional trailer reaction in a very long time. We've done some on stream.
It's
Usually,
kind of awkward because there'd be no audio and it'd just be us sitting here.
I was gonna say usually Brett's here, and so we're gonna do
Yeah.
something like that. Like Brett would be the guy to help us with it,
Our tech guy is gone.
but our tech guy's gone. So for the sake of not butchering what's actually working right
I
now,
accidentally
we're not gonna,
melted the computer.
we're not gonna give it a shot. So we'll jump into the next couple categories. Cinematography, Oppenheimer. I think this was pretty well locked up. I think we knew that. Writing original screenplay. So this kind of became a hot discussion. Anatomy of a Fall won, but The Holdovers was nominated. Yesterday,
I wanted this to win.
he wanted it to win just for the controversy. The story that broke. Brandon did some digging on it yesterday, I believe.
And, well, I mean, I read about it. I want to say Fridays when the story broke, but I did not get a chance today I didn't over the weekend really to print anything out for you guys to read or anything.
That's
But
fine.
what I can remember, the Cliff's Notes version, and I gosh, I got to look it up now because I don't want to get the individual's name incorrect.
It's
here.
the writer of Paddington 2, I believe.
Great film.
Right?
Yeah. Or Paddington 1.
Yeah.
Or the different writer?
I think it's a different writer, or maybe it's a producer. No, it's a writer because it's about a script. Duh.
So I'm just trying to pull it. Oh,
But basically,
I'm
just
on
while you pull that up.
SLTE. Okay, so yeah, so Simon Stevenson, he wrote Luca, the Pixar, Disney Pixar movie that premiered on Disney Plus, and Paddington 2. Simon Stevenson, he had written a script in I want to say 2013 that he had titled Frisco. I know nothing about like the inner workings of the script other than I think back in January. It's been a while. It's been bubbling under the surface for a little while. He had lodged a complaint with the WGA that like the Holdovers has so many scenes, like not even like, oh, the scenes are very similar and like some of the dialogue similar. He's like there is whole scenes like in dialogue straight verbatim lifted, and all they've changed is like Giamatti's character is a world-weary teacher, and my character, my lead was a world-weary children's doctor who has to stay at his hospital while something, basically like everything was lifted. And then he had said, I know Alexander Payne read it in 2013 because it was sent to him and he passed on producing and directing at that time. He was sent it again in 2019 and once again passed on doing anything with it, and then immediately went into working on The Holdovers with the individual who wrote that, which again the name escapes me right now. And I think even
I'm just picturing the guys who be like, I was wondering where I got that idea from.
I think even Alexander had mentioned that like he had some direction in shaping the script. So that's I mean, I know I did a horrible job.
No, that's plenty.
I mean, but I'm sure there's much more nuance and things that go with it. But that is the nuts and bolts of it.
Yeah.
And I remember reading it first, going, okay, well, the first thought you always have is, why is this coming out now?
Yeah.
But then you read it, like, no, this has been, Simon Stevenson has been, I don't say feuding necessarily, but he has been trying to work it out with the WGA, who's told him, like, well, no, you can't take this through us. You got to go through a different avenue to kind of lodge this complaint. He's like, but I'm a Writers Guild member. So I'm a guild member. And
What are you here
someone else is, has taken my work, basically. Yeah.
Wow.
And so this isn't just, for anybody who maybe saw the headlines, like, why is this coming out just for the Oscars? He has been trying to fight this, and I think finally reached a point, like, I'm getting nowhere, so yeah, I'm going to take it public.
And I think you do it at the Oscars, right? Like, this is when everybody's eyes who care about this thing are on it.
Yeah, and they were real quick to make a joke about it.
They definitely did.
See, did I miss that?
Yeah, so Kimmel, what was it? It was like
how late in the Oscar game can you change from original to adapted?
Yeah, or something like that. Like how old does a work have to be before it's considered adapted? I think is what he said.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it didn't win. Anatomy of a Fall won.
Well, they could have just traded Holdovers and Barbie because people wanted Barbie in original.
So that was I was telling my wife about that. I personally think Barbie should have been an original screenplay. I know, obviously, I think the rule is that because it's based off an existing IP. It's like, but they've never done a movie about it, like an actual, like a non-straight to DVD kids movie.
Yeah.
Wow, the disrespect. to
I've seen it.
Barbie's Dream House Princess Fountain Butterfly 2.
My wife and I started dating when my stepdaughter was 5, gonna be 6 years old. Later in the year, so I've seen, and now my daughter is 6, and I have 10-month-old. So I will see plenty of those Barbie movies. I've seen them already. I will see them again, and I will loathe every second of it. So I will take any opportunity to just throw them under the bus.
On
But
record, too.
On record, yes.
Never. If all the episodes will be deleted eventually,
We're
except
going
for
to
this
keep
one.
this one, yeah.
Just that little 30
But
seconds.
I thought Barbie should have been an original screenplay. I don't know. I still don't think it necessarily would have won. It might have been it might have been a more of an interesting race.
Yeah.
But I will contend that movie should have been an original screenplay.
I think the most interesting thing about Anatomy of a Fall winning is, I don't remember who it was, but they were like, I still don't know who, if your character did it or not.
That was for the actress.
Yeah. But I think that can speak to the screenplay too. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's interesting. It's an interesting take. Best adapted, American Fiction won. I've not seen this. I really want to. I was telling Luke
do as
last
well,
night.
yes.
I really find the process of publishing books interesting. And so I think this movie would interest me for a lot of different reasons. But amongst this, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Zone of Interest, and Barbie. So I don't think that's a snub. I think I haven't seen enough. But now we're getting into the big ones. We got actress in a supporting role. Emily Blunt, Danielle Brooks, America Ferrera, Jodie Foster, and Divine Joy Randolph. The minute we finished The Holdovers, Luke and I were like, she might win an Oscar for this.
Might.
The other person, and I just recently watched this, so it could have been recency bias, but Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple is phenomenal. She's really freaking good. So I was hoping it was either Divine Joy Randolph or Danielle Brooks. I've not seen Nyad. I had not seen Nyad, so I don't know about Jodie Foster, but I'd seen the others. And I felt like one of those two should have won it. Who did you have picked in this category?
I had Divine Joy and
Okay.
Joy Randolph picked as well.
Okay.
Also had, just going backwards, American Fiction winning adapted screenplay. As
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Nice.
You were on it then.
I can't wait to hear the final score.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I got
when we
0.
get to that point. So then we get into actor in a supporting role. We kind of mentioned this earlier, but Robert Downey Jr. won his first Oscar, which is awesome. They're gonna come for you, which is awesome. I loved the shot from behind him where he's holding the Oscar and he's like,
Doing his peace signs.
yeah. And I was like, this man really is Tony Stark, and I just thought it was kind of cool.
Where's Tony Stark? Robert Downey Jr. Is he the?
It's
Was
a
he
good-
that?
Well,
It's a good question.
He is Iron Man. Iron Man is he. The suit and him are one. Wasn't that one of the lines from, was it Iron Man 2 when he was before Congress, right?
No, he's dead, so
Oh.
doesn't matter anymore.
Spoiler alert, man.
So yeah, I thought this was cool. It was a good category. I mean, this one was loaded. You had Sterling K. Brown, Robert De Niro, Robert Downey Jr., Ryan Gosling, Mark Ruffalo. This was the bit where somebody accidentally, or who was it, said Robert
Robert
Oscar
De Niro.
winner, yeah.
Robert De Niro, Oscar winner. Ooh,
Yeah, and it
Tim
was like,
Robbins.
oh, yeah, that's who it was, Tim Robbins. And then like the names are so close,
Robert.
phonetically to a point, and you're like, But then it went to Downey Jr., which I think he's great in Oppenheimer. He's incredible.
It's a very, I mean, it's not a showy role necessarily.
He does a lot with a little.
Yes, he does. So, I mean, in terms of, if you're wanting, if you're looking like, well, who maybe gave like the most like in your face performance, and you would, I mean, immediately you would say one of Gosling or Ruffalo.
Yeah.
Even if you've not seen Poor Things, I'm sure you've seen the trailers or the little clips of of Ruffalo.
Yeah.
And in his, and yeah, it's definitely a really out there role compared to what he's normally done. Obviously, I mean, much like everybody who made predictions probably put down Robert Downey Jr., he had taken everything in the award circuit leading up to this.
Mm-hmm.
So it really wasn't, when we get to some of the other ones where we can go and, I can discuss, if people want to know, kind of how I made certain predictions and how they might have differed from last year. But loved it. Strong. I mean, such a strong category. Every single person, I mean, in any other year probably could have won.
Yeah.
Obviously, depending on what might got released. But
and I mean, just the supporting actor actress nomination. I feel like we mentioned, a nomination isn't a win in itself, but in this category, there's way more supporting actors than there are lead actors.
Yeah.
So to like stand in front of, be the 5 at that crowd,
that's a huge honor.
that's a huge achievement.
I will say, obviously, the day that my family, my wife and I, we saw Barbie and then Oppenheimer. Of course, saw Barbie first, and I mean, absolutely loved Ryan Gosling as Ken. I remember walking out of her going like, man, I mean, he's absolutely going to at least get nominated for something with this.
Yeah.
Whether it's they're going to classify him as a lead or support, because he's the leading male in the movie, but of course it is definitely more of a supporting role.
Yeah.
And I mean, even when I've rewatched it at home, with my daughters who want to watch it, like it's in the hands of still maybe a good actor, but not Ryan Gosling. That performance probably does not hit the same. Like, you need someone who is just self-deprecating enough to really buy into, like at times he's the joke, but also like, for all the social commentary it has, and to really buy into that and be on the same page with your director and your screenwriter. Yeah, you have to trust that they know what they're doing, and so again, in the hands of I don't want to say lesser actor, but maybe just as talented, but a different guy, it doesn't come across the same way, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And I'm just hoping the buzz that Gosling has gotten just over the past 6 months, really, it will let us finally get the Nice Guys too.
Oh yeah,
man.
would love that.
Oh my
Would love that.
I'm late to that party, but man, I would love that too. Yeah. I that movie's so awesome.
He's so good in comedic performance. He's got such good comedic timing.
For the longest time, I had to call him the most underrated comedic actor I'd known. But like now, people know.
The Nice Guys, Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah.
Remember, I mean, it's a very, very fun time at the movies if you went and saw it. I mean, and great cast, but I mean, he's great in it. One of my absolute favorite hosts of SNL whenever he's on it, because he's one
He
of those,
breaks characters so
but he's game for everything. Go, if you guys haven't watched it,
So
every Christmas season I watch I think it's called Santa Baby digital short that he did when he was on it, and go back and watch it. I mean, if you talk about a guy who is committed, and
I just love the
alien
the
one.
alien.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just like fighting for his life.
Yeah. Well, that was the very first one. The very first time they did that sketch. So, I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't. No one stood a chance in that one, because I mean, I do watch a fair amount of SNL, so I remember that seeing that for the very first time. I mean, A.D. Bryant and Bobby Moynihan were the two questioners, and both those were really well known for not breaking character often, especially A.D. Bryant. She very rarely broke, at least early on. I don't know if towards the end, if maybe she was a little like, I'm almost out of here, so I'll let it go a little bit.
Like, oh, my contract's coming up.
But I mean, even they were having a hard time holding it. I mean, and when you were across from Kate McKinnon,
She's ridiculous.
she is too good for her own.
Jumping in, we got a few left here. Get through these, but actress in a leading role. Emma Stone won this. I thought this was like the real, for me, was the real only surprise of the night, where I was like, what? Because Lily Gladstone had been cleaning up.
It
was pretty 50-50, I felt
Was
like.
it?
Yeah.
So, because my
She
wife
won the
had
SAG though, right?
so my wife had asked me about this, and I was like, well, this was almost like a mirror. I keep hitting this thing, a flip flop of last year. So
They
if you
kept hitting the
remember
mic last night too. It's all good.
last year, of course, the big race and actress was Kate Blanchett and Tar, and Michelle Yeoh and Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I was
and
Team Kate Blanchett.
I was Team Michelle Yeoh.
I ain't mad, though.
Yeah. But I mean, they both had won certain things on the circuit leading up to it, but then of course Blanchett had won the SAG award, or no, excuse me, Michelle Yeoh had won the SAG award, but there was enough going on that a lot of people were like, well, momentum, quote unquote, still on Blanchett's. Like, she's won a little bit more of the precursors, quote unquote. And of course, Michelle Yeoh ended up winning Best Actress. This was sort of a flip flop. I mean, Lily Gladstone won Golden Globe Best, for actress in a drama. Emma Stone for actress in a comedy or musical. But then Lily Gladstone had won the SAG, and so I think at that point a lot had tipped back over. But Emma Stone had won the BAFTA.
Oh, okay.
And then there's the the whole thing that again, for someone, look, I'll just say it right now, Killers of the Flower Moon, from a technical, I mean, you can't go wrong with Scorsese movies. He's a master of what he's doing. So you're gonna be wowed by what you're seeing because he's a good storyteller. It wasn't necessarily completely my favorite Scorsese film, and there's the argument that, well, she probably should have ran as a supporting actress because she's not, it's not her necessarily her story. I get, it's not told from her perspective.
Yeah.
And if she had, I think there's a fair shot that she might have won in that one, because, or at the very least, it wouldn't have been, well, Divine Jordan Randolph's run away with everything. It might have been more of a 2-person race at that point.
I think there's just such a strange line of the supporting or leading. Like, it's the same with Gosling.
Yeah.
Like, you were like, oh, should he be like, he's
But
the
it's
male
flipped,
lead?
yeah.
Unfortunately, I also think this is an instance where, I was reading something today that, like, people can say she should have ran as supporting, but she ended up running as lead, and then they're like, it was a career move as well, because she's now gotten lead projects, or gotten more projects, whereas like people who run and maybe win as a supporting, they tend to have a harder time breaking through onto more
Leading
better
roles.
projects.
Yeah.
But then I hear that, and I was like, okay, that's a fair point, because I start thinking back at some of the people who previously won. I'm like, the actors don't have a hard enough time, because a lot of times they're being dominated by leading men who just took on a supporting role. I mean, look at our category this year. I mean,
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo he's a leading actor. Ryan Gosling definitely carries his own movies. Robert Downey Jr. carried an entire studio.
Cinematic universe.
De Niro.
Who I'm sure Marvel would write a blank check if they could get him to agree to come back.
Yeah. Yeah. De Niro. He was the
Niro.
leading man for 40 years.
Yeah.
And then let's look at the actresses in the supporting role. I mean, some of them. I mean, Danielle Brooks. I knew her from Orange Is the New Black, but I mean, I hope she can stick around and actually get some more work, because she is great.
Yeah.
And America Ferrera's been around for a while, but she's never truly been. So I was like, man, there might be some merit there, but if you take it a step further, is it just that actresses who run and win maybe in a supporting role have a harder time breaking through and getting that lead role? And it's an interesting thing to maybe go back. I might have to go back and take a look and see, because historically, is that true or not?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think another part of the whole thing too is, I see a lot of people like talking about Lily Gladstone losing and Emma Stone winning, and I feel like both sides are taking away from the other. It's like, let's not diminish the other's performance because
No, definitely not.
somebody else won.
Yeah.
Like, they're both great. It keeps going back to, I think we've said it 5 times. A nomination
Is a win.
is a win, and
Yeah.
it should be treated as such.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if we were ever to get breakdown of ballot voting, if this was one of the closer
Like
races,
30 to 29.
Yeah, probably.
I
It
mean-
was
No,
probably
scoring works.
razor thin. Like,
yeah, I mean, because looking at it, SAG-AFTRA, they're the largest voting block. They're the largest union in the Academy. And so, if historically they look at it as like, well, whoever wins the SAG award typically usually goes on to win, but it's not always. It's not always definite, because then, when you get to the Academy voting, it's open to all branches. And so this, again, comes back to, well, did people sit through all of Killers of the Flower Moon, or did people maybe watch Poor Things and see only some of Killers of the Flower Moon, and then vote for Emma Stone? And I don't want to necessarily get into all of that and downplay it, because Emma Stone gave it is a really good performance as Bella Baxter. It was, really good. I don't know how else to say it other than that. I liked it more than her win from La La Land, and La La Land. I'm sorry, it's kind of a forgettable movie.
I like that movie.
Huh?
I like that movie a lot.
I liked it. Look, I liked it too, but
I'm with you.
I'm not.
I'm with you.
This is why you line up with Luke's reviews.
I've rewatched it exactly one time. That's because Kendra hadn't seen it, so we watched it together. And I remember I was like, everything about it's great, but it's also like, it's one of those movies like man, I'm not seeing, like, I'm not remembering it every year.
You know what I remember about it? Sound mixing. Bad.
I'm remembering. I wish I could remember the joke. It was that somebody had so, Ryan Gosling helped explain jazz music to black people.
Oh, no.
I just remember the movie starting and they're singing this song on the freeway, and I'm like, I wonder what the lyrics are.
Oh.
You know what it was? I think it was a Between the Two Ferns outtake.
Oh.
Zach Galifianakis
Yeah.
asks, like, did you feel good helping explain black or jazz music to black people?
Oh, Zach.
I
Oh,
bet
man.
Gosling handled it great.
The other reason La La Land is less in my book is just a more personal reason. It's because the exact same year Sing Street came out, and nobody gave the flying flip about it. Got 0 nominations.
And that's
it's
one
a
of your
better
favorite movies,
No,
yeah.
it's my favorite movie.
Okay,
Oh.
yeah.
Put some respect on
So
its name.
Yeah, I was telling Tyler before we started here. I actually was texting him earlier today. I had told him I was leaning towards Emma Stone and Best Actress, and then he had said, "Oh, it's Lily's. It's all locked
Yeah,
up."
I thought it was really
And
locked
so
up.
I
I would-
switched. I switched it. I was like, "He's right. I bet it is," because I mean, I think, this she was good. Like, and an argument can be made, like, you know what, enough people could have voted for her, like, and it would be deserved. I mean,
Oh,
whether or
yeah.
not you think she should have ran and supporting actress or not, I mean, she was an unknown, and I mean, every bit of time she's on screen carried that movie.
Do they still do the weighted points thing?
What do you mean by that?
Like first place, you vote on multiple, and first place gets like 10
That's
points.
only in Best Picture.
That's just Best Picture?
And it's
okay.
yeah. I mean, I'm not sure how many points it is necessarily, but yeah, it's
no idea.
So I had switched it to Lily Gladstone, and then of course Emma Stone. I was like, I should
Wow.
have kept my gut.
What an idiot.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have listened to me. Jumping into actor in a leading role, this was, to me, outside for me, like Luke said, Boy and the Heron was like 100% lock in his mind. For me, this was this category. Cillian Murphy, I felt like it was just a no-brainer.
Yeah, I had predicted Cillian Murphy. I know some people thought, oh, there's an outside shot that Paul Giamatti would
would've
win for a
loved that.
holdover
Maybe if weighted voting
to maybe make up for not even
Maybe.
being nominated in 2004 for Sideways.
should have been nominated for Big Fat Liar.
Should
Commitment.
have been.
So good.
But I
Diamonds on
mean,
blue.
looking at the precursor awards, nothing that I don't believe. I'll have to double check. I don't believe that Giamatti had won anything in which he shared a nomination with Murphy. So I know he won his Golden Globe, but Murphy was nominated in leading actor in a drama. He was leading actor in a comedy or musical. After that, I do not believe he won. Maybe the SAG award, but
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and check. I would know. I'll have to go back and check. But I was not surprised at all.
Yeah, this felt like a lock.
The
Speaking
next,
of-
the next
speaking of
two are
locks.
locks.
Yeah. Best Director, Best Picture, both went to Oppenheimer. Nolan finally gets his Best Director win.
He has more Oscars than Martin Scorsese. He has one.
For Best Director,
Yeah.
Martin Scorsese has one.
Yeah, he has one. But
So-
now Nolan has one for Best Picture and Best Director.
Oh, I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
I think Scorsese's is just Best Director for Departed.
Yeah, I was just happy for Nolan to finally get this. Finally win it. Felt like it was just long. This is a long time
Do you think he's going to
coming.
retire? So I got
No. No. He's got to make a movie about winning an Oscar now.
Well, now it's Villeneuve Festy.
Yeah, Villeneuve's got to get that Best Director win now. But no, I just felt, I've talked about it a lot. Oppenheimer sat with me a lot after seeing it. So much so I went and bought the book. And I'll tell you, that is a very dense book. I'm still reading it in chunks because it's just so much information.
Yeah.
But Oppenheimer as a film is just incredible.
Yeah.
It toes the line of playing with a very touchy subject in a way that I think is as respectable as it could have been done, which I think is an achievement all itself. I think performance-wise, it's obviously top of the line. Direction, top of the line. Cinematography, top of the line. Like everything about it, I feel like just works so well.
When you come to expect that with Chris Nolan movies.
At this point, yeah. Like he's just like Luke after Oppenheimer went back and rewatched all of them. Like rewatched every Nolan movie.
That was good.
Yeah, and it
That was a good month.
And I watched Memento with you.
That was a great movie.
It's so awesome. I had never seen it. It was awesome. It It's just a cool.
I had to figure out
his tier
my
list.
my ranking of Nolan movies.
Well, I would love to hear your rankings.
Yeah, you can pull them up. That's fine.
I will say while he's pulling it up, people probably can disagree with me. Greta Gerwig absolutely deserved to be nominated for Best Director in this category. I don't know who I would have bumped for it. Maybe Glazer for The Zone of Interest, and I'm sorry for the Zone of Interest fans out there. Again, I look back at what was expected from making a Barbie movie, and what was delivered.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I saw a quote from Villeneuve today, and he was like, "If somebody put a Barbie in front of me and they said make a movie about this, I would freeze and I would have no idea what to do." And he's like, "Just props to Greta for
making something
as good as it was."
I mean, I go back so far. Her filmography, as a director, Lady Bird. I mean, that's a really well done movie. I loved it. Saoirse Ronan. Can't say enough good things about her. Leading into Little Women, which was it you? I was talking about like how we were so lucky to get. Oh gosh, I'll have to go back and look at it. I think I had this whole thing like, man, we were so lucky to get. We were so lucky to get Florence Pugh.
Oh, okay.
Because just in all of our lives, I love Florence Pugh. She is so amazing in everything she does. But I had mentioned like Greta Gerwig was cast in the pilot for How I Met Your Dad that never got made. This was the direct spinoff from How I Met Your Mother. She was in, like, I think you can find bits and pieces of the pilot online. Like, it's fully shot and pretty much and all edited and done. Never got picked up. It doesn't get picked up. She goes and does Lady Bird, which does well enough to get her Little Women. She casts Florence Pugh in Little Women. Of course, up to that point, Pugh had done some things like Midsommar and Fighting with My Family, but had not been on like her trajectory that she's on post Little Women.
Yeah.
That was like her huge break, in my opinion, out to everything. And I was like, we got Greta Gerwig not getting picked up as an actress, and not getting her show picked up for this whole trajectory. And now, and again,
we almost got a spin-off of a terrible show.
Yeah. But I mean, looking back, like, think about how all the, I think it was you I sent that to.
I can't remember if it was.
Because I send you so much crap.
I've slept since then.
But yeah, I think she absolutely deserved to be recognized. I mean, probably wouldn't have won. Obviously wouldn't have won because it was going to go to Chris Nolan. But just, again.
And they just don't give that award to women in general, usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just everything done with that movie. And people, I think it's popular now to kind of bag on it.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't deserve it.
But I think you bring a good point, and Denny's quote kind of hammers it home. It's like, what was expected versus what you got. Incredible.
I think even
it's seriously mind blowing. I've never thought about it that way, but
I think even Warner Brothers would have been like, "Hey, we'd be happy if this, picks up, $500 million."
Yeah.
Which we throw that. I mean, you think of it because it's a huge property that we're going to trust that you're going to do it, and it's going to be released in the summertime, and it's going to go, it's going to a prime summertime release. So yeah, we'll be happy. You win the weekend, generate $400 to $500 million. Maybe you'll get lucky and break $700 million, which for all of us seems like an absurd number to throw around.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're looking at what it racked up. I mean, again, Warner Brothers Studios. It's its highest grossing movie of all time.
That's
the first female director to break $1 billion at the box office. And again, I don't think people were going back to rewatch it I don't think it had good word of mouth just because of we want to be socially aware. No, I think it had good word of mouth because it was a good movie. It was a fun movie.
Well, they mentioned Zack Snyder in it, so maybe all the Snyder.
Ooh, that helps. That helps. Yeah, that helps.
So
yeah.
I'm sorry. I wanted to get that out. That's
no. You're
I
good,
thought
man.
it deserved. I thought she absolutely deserved it. Because this is the third movie of hers I've seen where she's delivered more than delivered. I mean, going back to, I saw Little Women. My wife and I saw that in theaters before we went on our 1 year anniversary, trip to New York. And I remember going, I kind of want to see it. Like, it has Emma Watson in it and Saoirse Ronan, and I was like, Florence Pugh. I kind of like, she's pretty good in what I've seen from her before. And then just going, oh my God, this movie was amazing, so good.
Yeah,
I thought it was all right.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just
Brett
don't.
liked it, didn't he?
I don't remember.
I think Brett liked it. No, I'm thinking of Women Talking.
Yeah.
Great film.
Great,
Yeah.
great film. Yeah, I would agree.
Based on my people, they can't.
But yeah, Oppenheimer. I agree. I like honestly just nominated a sixth person. I think she could have been nominated, and I wouldn't have complained about it. I thought I love that movie. But yeah, Oppenheimer wins Best Picture. Just to mention them: American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, The Zone of Interest. Yeah, I mean, great year of Oscars, great year of films, movies. Man, it just feels like every year gets better and better. I don't know how, but it does.
Yeah.
And it was a crazy year too with all the strikes and stuff. So
Yeah.
happy that we got through it
I think we're gonna end up feeling that
this year.
Oscar,
And
yeah,
next,
like as we get through this year, and then we can, if we're back here next year, if I'm lucky enough to be back here next year with you guys discussing Oscars 2025 and even 2026.
We'll kick Brett off.
yeah, we'll kick him out.
So no, you got your
I got
list?
my list.
Okay.
For your Nolan movies.
For Nolan movies.
Yeah.
Number 12, I have Tenet.
Okay.
11, I have Following. Number 10, Dark Knight Rises. Number 9, Dunkirk. 8, Insomnia. 7, Oppenheimer. 6, Memento. 5, Batman Begins. 4, The Prestige. 3, The Dark Knight. 2, Inception. 1, Interstellar.
It's a solid list, man.
What's your number?
I mean,
one?
they're all good movies.
What's your? Yeah, I was gonna say it's so
Even
hard.
Tenet, which I thought was cool, but like not great.
I
We're
mean,
gonna sidebar here. What's your favorite Nolan movie?
man, the Batman fan in me wants to say The Dark Knight.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And I agree, there would be nothing wrong with that. But I feel like it's really hard for me to pick between Inception and The Prestige.
So for me, it's The Prestige.
Yeah, I think I have to slightly tip it just because I remember when they were getting released in 4K, I was way more excited to get The Prestige in 4K than any of the other ones I ended up buying on that one. But then I'm thinking like, oh man, Inception was really good though.
Yeah. No, I mean he really
Just-
has been.
Like, for both, honestly, just incredible ideas.
Yeah.
And I think that's really where Inception gets the bump up. It's just a wild idea.
Yep, and it's executed well.
Yeah.
Because then on the other side of that is you have Tenet, where it's a really cool idea
Yeah.
that he doesn't quite execute as well as some of his other things, right? And like I love Tenet. I'm probably higher on Tenet than anybody on the show, but I understand like why people don't love it as much. Like I get it, but I like
Music's so good.
oh so
I
good.
Still haven't seen Tenet. 'Cause
What?
It was released in the pandemic, and
Brandon, you were coming over watching Tenet soon. We're gonna
I-
make this happen.
yeah, it's not.
Mostly because I just want a reason to watch Tenet.
It is not for a lack of desire. In fact, I mean, my wife got it for him for Christmas one year, but with little kids in the home, we rarely get an opportunity to watch something like. I mean, let's be honest. It's what over 2.5 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to have the time to devote to it, and the only time we get to watch things for ourselves is at bedtime,
Yeah.
and we're too tired.
Yeah.
So.
We're gonna make it happen.
I wanted to rewatch them because, well, I had watched Oppenheimer
Yeah.
and like I had put it in my list and it was low and I was like, maybe I should just rewatch them all again. But then also in Tenet, there's a line and Nolan has kind of embraced that, and I feel like it's kind of his mission statement almost, where it's don't try and understand it, try and feel it. And I kind of went into each movie just
Trying to feel it.
with that mind state instead of like I need to understand everything about the plot, where it's like no, I just need to experience it.
Yeah.
And
That's a cool way to look at it, to rewatch those through that lens.
it was really interesting too because like I hadn't seen Dunkirk in forever, and that one had been a lot higher,
I don't.
and
like-
it
don't like
dropped pretty
Dunkirk.
far on my list.
Yeah.
It's a great movie, but it's not really worth watching a second
I
time.
mean, if we apply the same principle like I applied to Scorsese, like Nolan knows what he's doing. Like you're not going to see a technically flawed movie of his. I mean, you're really not. Everything's going to be precise. It's going to be, I think, what he wants to tell. Now, if it's a story driven aspect, if he ends up executing it right, that I think I kind of separate that in my mind. But like a movie like Dunkirk, like yeah, it's technically proficient. Like, it's start to finish. It's it's a great looking film, but it was very low. Like, if I exclude every Nolan movie I've not seen, which I right now is Following and Tenet, Dunkirk is my least favorite Nolan. Like, but I don't typically enjoy war movies. So I think that might have been why I was like, I was
Did
just
you
not,
like 1917?
No, I did not.
Dang.
Get out.
I'm sorry.
You're
Get out of
fired.
here.
We're letting Brett back on for an Oscars this year.
You know, I love Tom Hanks. Saving Private Ryan. Like, I give it up for Tom Hanks, but
You
it's
just hate America? Oh wait. 1917 is about America. Okay, that joke didn't work.
But even since it's it's
Just
a war
not a war
movie,
movie
just
guy.
not a war movie guy. Like,
That's
I'm like,
alright.
it's not gonna be one I go back and watch again. If I want to watch a Tom Hanks movie, I'm gonna pick something that's,
It's all good.
I'm gonna be happy with.
There's
watching.
lots of genres I just never watch.
Yeah.
Slashers.
Slashers, hate them. Zombies,
You hate them or you like them?
hate them.
Okay.
Most corset movies.
Which corset movies do you like? Because you said most.
Amadeus?
Okay.
Or, yeah, that one was good. I don't know. They're hard to think of.
You probably don't like Amadeus for F. Murray Abraham, though, right? Seeing a corset in that movie.
I mean, it's just an awesome movie.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. That's a 3-hour movie about Mozart. You're just like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, man. This dude rocks.
No.
You know what? I love I need to have Kendra watch it, but I love The Last Action Hero, where F. Murray Abraham's in it, and of course, the little boy makes a joke about Amadeus. He's like, "Who's Mozart?"
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen?
No.
He's not. Have you seen Last Action
No.
Hero? You guys are really missing out. Like, it's.
Are we kicked off our own show
You're
now?
kicked off your own
now
show.
we have to leave.
I don't know how you can be what the fanboy without saying, like, this is Arnold. Like, this is the action comedy from Arnold Schwarzenegger. It is so meta. Are you looking it up
Not
right
True
now?
Lies?
No, not True Lies. This is an entire send up on action movies, and they got Arnold Schwarzenegger to star in it, basically lampooning himself as the action movie star of like the late 80s and early 90s. And it is without a doubt some of his finest work as an actor. And I mean that quite sincerely. Like, it was, you talk about a guy who, like, probably back then would not have been up for anything, to be able to pitch this type of movie and they get him to be on board with it, knowing that, like, we're kind of poking fun at.
Is it like in the vein of Night and Day with Tom Cruise? It's like, hey, you've been in a lot of spy movies. Come make this spoof spy movie. Like, in that kind of
I never saw
vein.
90. So, I mean, the gist of it was trying not to give it away. So, the movie is, this little, I don't know, 10 to 12-year-old boy loves Arnold Schwarzenegger. This particular
Are you
one.
sure this isn't Jingle All the Way?
I'm sure it's not Jingle All the Way. That's his smash holiday hit, Jingle All the Way.
I have seen that one.
Yes, he loves Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's particularly like this Jack Slater franchise, and like what we see like in the movie is he's watching a trailer for the next Slater movie, and I mean, it's so ridiculous how like the premise is, oh, these bad guys killed my fourth favorite second cousin, and now they've got to pay. But then he gets this.
They've got to pay.
He's given like this magic ticket that transforms him into the movie that he's about to watch.
Oh, what the heck?
And so he's in it, and of course, like, I don't know, you have to watch it. I don't think it's one that you guys will regret watching.
Baroque says, I've seen it, Brandon. I haven't seen it in years, but I remember liking it.
Yeah, exactly. Baroque knows what's up.
Unfortunately, there's lots of movies that people would get upset that I haven't seen, and
I'm just
am a movie fan.
I'm just surprised. That's all. I'm just
Yeah.
surprised.
But no, I think, just to wrap up kind of the Oscars conversation, overall, I thought it was a good show. I really don't feel like there was any major snubs or anything like that. But no, I think it was another good year. Any final thoughts on the Oscars before we quickly move into news and then kind of our weekly and then wrap it up?
I guess my thing would just be, don't feel bad about speaking your own language if you need to give a speech.
Yes.
I feel like
Yes.
some of them get up there and they might feel like they have to speak English, and we'll translate it. We'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah. I do think that needs to be
like the
something
French
they-
guy went up there and got like half of it, and then the Godzilla -1 folks went up there and
Yeah,
The only word I really understood was Godzilla, and
yeah, it was hard, and I think that needs to be something they implement moving forward. Is like finding a way to, make that happen. They do it in the UFC all the time.
or like, I don't know, can they just hire a translator? Like,
Yeah.
go up with them?
That's what I mean. Like, if you like watch a UFC fight, like half those dudes don't speak English, and after their fight, they just have a
Bad Bunny
translator.
didn't have to speak English.
Yeah, and he tried. I mean, kudos to him for trying, but yeah, I mean it's hard.
They gave me subtitles. I love subtitles. I use subtitles on every single thing I watch.
Yeah, and obviously because it's scripted, they can do that. But like, yeah, I
They
do
should have
hope
gave The Rock subtitles too.
I do hope they figure out a way to do it moving forward. But yeah, Brandon, any final thoughts?
I mean, just nothing differs from what we had said before we came on. My favorite movie didn't get nominated for anything last year. It was The Iron Claw. I thought it was, not that it would have necessarily won in any of its categories. I just would have loved to have seen it get some sort of recognition.
We had kind of said the same thing. Like I do think that was a snub. I more meant in the sense of like the award winners. I didn't feel like it'd be really
I thought
upset.
Efron was going to be nominated.
Yeah, I did too.
Who?
Zac Efron.
Zac
Oh,
Efron.
yeah.
I thought his performance was well worthy of it, for sure.
Yeah, I would not. I mean, would have loved to have seen something happen, but I kind of figured with its late release date, and again what we touched on, A24 deciding to push its chips in with a couple others, just didn't stand a chance. But may it live on, may it earn its, not even earn, just be given its flowers and earn, kind of have its day with with the audience that it's found, and people remembering like, man, that was a really good movie.
Yeah. Does the movie you root for, I guess, typically do well at Oscars? Do you usually line up?
No, not ever, not really. Well, I mean, some years yes, some years no. So it just depends on what gets released. So this year, I mean, looking back at the nominees, I mean, of what got nominated, I mean, I knew Oppenheimer was going to win, and I was perfectly fine with that. Again, I think I left Barbie going, that was just way better than I thought it was going to be. And I thought it was going to be good. I mean, you see the trailers before it comes out, you're like, okay, they've got something here, you know? And I was like, I'm going to be entertained. My daughters are going to love it for, at different ages. My 6-year-old loved it because it's a real life Barbie. My 11-year-old really loved it because, I mean, she's entering an age where, she's trying to figure some stuff out and, and exploring new thoughts and ideas. And she liked because she got a little bit more of the humor. And then, of course, my wife and I loved it because there's humor in there that were more adult oriented. So, like, it was able to really appeal to all sorts of. Yeah. And so, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that was my pick. Like,
yeah.
And I would have been happy if it would have won. I'd be like, man, that was a
I
shock.
imagine Iron Claw was your.
It was
pick,
my
yeah.
it was my, but it didn't get nominated. I remember in years past, like I thought when Creed came out, I thought Sylvester Stallone had supporting actor locked up. I really did. And I remember, of course, Mark Rylance, I believe, won that year for Bridge of Spies.
Oh yeah, we and you talked about that a lot. I can't believe he won that.
Yeah.
Still, we're never gonna watch that movie because
I remember they showed the clip and I was like, what? It's like, no.
I mean, that was, again, Creed was another example of a movie that when I saw it, like, even to this day, it lives with me. And it's certain, I mean, it's the line, really, in that movie that I thought that, like, man, Stallone probably, I still think should have won, where Michael B. Jordan's like, I gotta prove it. And he's like, prove what? That I'm not a mistake. It's like, that hits. Like, there's certain, like, it hits you, like, man, you want to hug him, like, you're not a mistake, man. And then when you look back on the movie, like the whole Rocky and Adonis relationship, you're like, man, I really thought he was going to win that year, and then he didn't. So there's
that was the year The Revenant came out too, right?
I don't remember.
So you, I don't. So yeah, I wasn't surprised by anything. I mean, hugely surprised in a way, like, oh man, that did not deserve it. I had certain picks I thought I was kind of playing the right way because I enjoy making my predictions and seeing how I stack up every year. So. Last year, I was like, I really wanted Everything Everywhere All at Once to win basically everything it won. And I was so happy it did. I loved Kiwi Kwan's story of everything. And I mean, not even beyond that, he was
Fantastic.
He was fantastic. Yeah. I mean, he was, in my opinion, like the heartbeat of that movie in terms of, just what it meant to deliver that role. Now, Stephanie Hsu I loved seeing her get nominated. I wanted her to win. I knew she wasn't going to, because that's, I think, where the industry kind of steps in. Is like, well, you'll probably be around for a little bit longer, kid. You know, we're gonna give this one. But I wasn't upset that Jamie Lee Curtis won.
I feel like I kind of was.
I thought it was a weird win. I remember being like, "This is weird."
I think it was just weird because kind of the same thing. If somebody was going to win in that movie, we thought it'd be Stephanie Shu.
Yeah.
And
I
then
mean,
it wasn't. It was her co-star.
Up to that point, she wasn't getting nominated for a lot in that category. So I didn't even think she was going to get nominated. And I was like, she needs to be nominated. And so I was like low key surprised that she was, in a great way. I would have. I mean, just going back last year, would have been happy if Angela Bassett won, because I mean, she
I think that's
she
where everybody
was Black
was
Panther:
leaning
Wakanda Forever. I mean, that was
She made that movie.
she made that movie, and I would not have been upset if she'd have won either. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's years where I'm like, man,
Did you see her? I think it was her quote this week. She was like, actually really surprised that she didn't win. It's like, so was the rest of the world.
Yeah.
But
We all felt that way.
I asked that because I feel like the movies that I love every year are like cursed at the Oscars.
It happens, man.
Like my favorite movie this year is Killer of the Flower Moon. It got lots of nominations, but it won 0, and it's like, oh dang, I would have liked it to see it won.
Yeah.
Last year it was RRR. Sing Street is my favorite movie of all time. 0 nominations. Like, ah.
but you know, Scorsese movies, they get nominated for a lot. They don't typically do well when it comes down to it.
Well, I mean, he only has the one Best Director win.
And I mean, people have argued before. I sort of disagree with them that it's not even like the movie. Well, no, excuse me. I wouldn't say I disagree with them. They argue that it's not even the movie he should have won for, and I would agree. There's lots of movies in his filmography he should have been recognized for. I happen to believe, and my opinion is that The Departed is one of his better movies.
Oh, yeah.
And is wholly, you know, it's not, well, like, because people will make the argument, oh, we gave it to him because, you know, we kind of snubbed him before, so we're kind of making up for it. No, like, that was
a great
it was
movie.
a great movie. I had Kendra, my wife
About The
Kendra.
Departed?
Yeah,
I think also too, it depends what it's up against.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, this is his best movie, but it went up against all of these.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is his third best movie, but The Field sucked this year. So.
I just remember, like,
Well, like Goodfellas lost to Dances with Wolves. Baroque brought that up. Lost Best Picture and Best Adapted Screenplay to Dances with Wolves.
yeah.
And Goodfellas is, I mean, people talk about the movie constantly.
I'd say that's his best movie.
The
personally.
Goodfellas?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen really like, cause, and again, people probably like mafia movies also aren't a genre I typically like either. But
Hey, I mean, Killers of the Flower Moon is a mafia movie.
yeah.
So
So at least I'm consistent. I'm
you're
nothing-
consistent,
I'm
baby. Yeah.
But like my wife, you know, Kendra hadn't seen The Departed, and she watched it, and we watched it together, and like, it brought me back to when I first saw it. I was in Denver, Colorado, seeing a Colorado Avalanche game. Got my little stuff right
You
here.
got your Avs gear on.
Yeah, and I just remember like it's just so well. Like everyone does their part so well, and then like Alec Baldwin's whole scene, like where they're in the the sting operation, and he's talking about David, I'm gonna have a smoke. You want smoke? You want smoke? You want the smoke?
I
Just how
knew
quickly he delivers that.
I knew that entire movie, the ending and everything.
Yeah.
And then I watched it for the first time, and I was still just perplexed by it.
Yeah, I think. Oh, Baroque says, "Boo, Avalanche, boo."
Stanley Cup champions. Oh my God.
Capital,
2022.
Capitals West, baby. Take all of our hand-me-downs.
What are you talking about? What hand-me-downs?
Yeah, not anything left now. Very quickly, let's jump into some news real quick. Luke, do you have any stories? I have a couple.
I just have 2.
Okay, hit yours real quick.
I'll do this one real quick first. Mario 2.
Yeah.
Super Mario Bros. 2, I should say. Movie
Yeah. Announced
with
on Mario Day.
Illumination. Yeah.
I'm very happy about this.
I'm very happy about it.
Woohoo!
I was very pumped. I love the first one. So
Yeah, loved it too. I mean, enough can be said about Chris Pratt's vocals.
I thought he was good in that.
I will
I
say,
don't even like Chris Pratt.
I was surprised by how much it didn't bother me, really. And I'm confident I'll feel the same with Garfield, really, when it comes out, and I inevitably go see it with the kids. Now, I grew up reading the Garfield comic strips, so I'll probably want to see it for myself as well. But I'm very happy to see this announced. I thought the first one was very nicely done. It was, beautiful animation.
Yeah.
Beautiful that's one that,
I honestly just need Jack Black back.
yeah.
I need Peaches 2.0. That would be enough to
I wish that would have performed at the
satisfy
Oscars.
me, really.
Yeah.
I wish he could have performed at the Oscars.
That would have been so great.
Yeah. So I'm very happy to see this guy. I was very happy to see it got announced. We'll be there to see it. You know, my kids all loved it.
Day one, baby.
Yeah.
Opening weekend, probably. Bryn will probably be old enough to see it.
Well, it'll
see.
be 2026.
Yeah, she'll definitely be old enough to see it.
Yeah.
What's
the other story I have? This is video game related. You gamer?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. After Hogwarts, it
Oh
sold.
my
It sold around
gosh,
25
dude.
million copies, maybe 22 million copies.
This is the dumbest story
Biggest selling game of the year. It's the first game to beat Call of Duty
ever. Yeah.
in forever.
Yep.
They also released Suicide Squad, and it was a colossal failure. I don't think anybody's playing it anymore.
No, yeah, the numbers were like
They're terrible.
scary low.
Anyway, after both those results, WB Games said they're going to make more live service games like Suicide Squad.
And apparently they want to try to make Hogwarts Legacy 2 a live service game.
Yeah, because live service, when they hit real big.
The money's real good. And
There's only one company that can say that. There's only two companies that can say that.
they are.
And one of them is probably going to be ending soon.
Bungo?
Fortnite,
Yep. So Epic Games.
which is just a service and it's a platform in itself now.
Yep.
And yeah,
Bungie.
Bungie with Destiny, which is going to die here in about 5 months.
Yeah. So that's a perfect kicking point to my next story, which is also game related. Multiversus officially got its relaunch date. They've built the game from the ground up in Unreal 5, reworked netcode so there's less latency, things like that. It's going to be releasing May 28th. WB Games as a service.
Yeah, here we
There you
go,
go.
baby.
Here we go.
At least this one's free.
I
Yeah.
read though the whole sticking with live service, and it just was it was just
Maybe this is good. I want devs to be able to make the games that they want to make, but maybe the studios
Need to crash
need
and
these
burn
to
a bit.
fail.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to learn some lessons.
so. I mean, I don't want to be like that guy necessarily.
Oh,
Because I think I mean I'm gonna ask. My question is, how much of this is driven by an edict from David Zaslav? And I don't want to be that guy because I think he gets a lot of crap thrown his way that he may legitimately not have. I mean, could we? Is it very possible that he has nothing to do with the video game side of things?
I would think he probably is pretty hands off.
Exactly. But if the edict is, we need to make some money because I want to be able to merge or sell certain things off, then that's whether or not he's directly saying that means more live service games.
Yeah.
That mean, he may not be saying that, but it's like, well, we need to try to hit big.
Yeah.
I was like, sometimes hitting big is having a game that, like you just said, sold more than Call of Duty for the first time, in however many years, and 25 million copies sold at $70 a pop. You made a buck ton, a huge lot of money. Sorry.
No, you're good.
At least $5.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah,
So it just was a huge mistake. It's going to be a huge mistake.
watch
if they make,
Zaslav be like the biggest gamer, and we just have no idea. He's like, man, I just want. The whole reason I got this job was so I can make a live service Hogwarts game.
Yeah.
I mean, I was hoping. I don't know if I've talked to Tyler about this. I was hoping that they'd sell WB Games off, and that before Microsoft bought Activision, that they would pick it up because I was like, get Microsoft the DC license, and let's get some if Sony's gonna play exclusivity with with Spider-Man,
Marvel, yeah.
and well, not necessarily Marvel, because I think Marvel, it's the whole Spider-Man can appear in team-up games where they can't make a specific Spider-Man game.
Okay.
But they didn't. And if it gets sold off, who knows? At this point, Microsoft probably won't be able to acquire any other studios for quite some time.
Definitely
Alright.
not. But
Yeah.
you never know, yeah.
They like to spend money. Got to buy as much as they can so they can just go multi-platform. No more
So that's another great launch point for my next story.
No more exclusives.
The ex-PlayStation boss, he was in the news this week.
Jim Ryan?
No, I think his name's Sean something.
Sean Ryan? Sean Jim Ryan?
Sean Layden.
No, I have no. Never heard of him.
He called exclusivity the Achilles heel of large budget games.
And he ran PlayStation for a bit.
It's ironic, right?
It's like a drug addict who's somebody who's been addicted to cocaine for like 20 years. Be like, man, dude,
You should not do that.
cocaine's really bad for you.
Yeah. So yeah, it's fascinating how Microsoft's gotten so much heat for some of the decisions they've been making. Like even just this week, I think Hellblade's rumored to be coming to PlayStation.
That's not gonna happen.
I don't think so either. But I think that's going to be every time an Xbox game is announced.
I should say that's not gonna happen soon. It will happen eventually. Yeah.
But it's it's going to be the thing every time Xbox has a game coming out. Oh, is it coming to PlayStation? We're just going to live in that world. But he had just talked about like when budgets balloon over that $200 million mark, you're cutting out a large chunk of money by being exclusive.
I saw somebody retweet that.
Yeah.
And they would just be like, "Hey, can somebody say this about movies too?"
So it kind of feels like there's starting to become this shift in the industry a little bit, where exclusivity is kind of starting to get a negative connotation, which I think is what needs to happen.
Well, here's the thing. For the longest time, PlayStation was very anti-crossplay.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's pretty much a standard.
Yep.
And it kind of just
Happened overnight.
happened.
Yep.
Thank you, Fortnite.
Yep. I think we're getting closer and closer to a world where you buy your console and you play where you want to play. And I think that's how it needs to be.
Sweet.
I mean, it's gonna. I agree. First of all, that exclusivity really shouldn't be a thing, necessarily speaking. I think it's gonna take more developers or studios kind of putting their own foot down.
Oh yeah.
Or if in the case of like, I think right now like kind of what's springing to my mind is like Major League Baseball basically telling Sony, well, you got to put our games on other platforms.
Yeah.
No longer, you can't just
Shout out to the MLB for doing that.
I mean, you can't just keep it on the Sony PlayStation.
Yeah.
And so now we it's so weird to live in a world, I mean, video game, speaking that, a first party Sony developed game is on Game Pass day one.
Yeah.
But not on Sony's own, subscription based service, at all, really. Or if it comes to it, it's much later.
Happy.
Oh, every year, baby. Fires me up.
Yeah.
Love the show.
So, I mean, this is so, if more developers or studios kind of got the balls to be like, look, like we want to be able to put it on all sorts of platforms. And I remember, talking to one of our good buddies about this before, like if Sony wants certain things from Microsoft, like just trade,
Just bargain. Yes.
just trade, like Microsoft. I'm sure Microsoft would love to get their hands on
I'll give
a
you
Spider-Man,
my
a God of
Charizard
War,
for your Pikachu.
Yeah.
but like if if the time comes where Microsoft's like, we're going to take Call of Duty exclusive, which I know they've pledged 10 years, and once that 10 years is up,
By
just
that time, exclusivity won't be a thing.
yeah, it probably won't be.
Let's
But
hope. But
gosh,
yeah,
yeah.
no, I think you're right. Like, I don't know why we couldn't just trade exclusives.
the only
Oh, you guys want Gears of War? Give us God of War, or whatever. Give us
It's
Helldivers.
a war exchange.
Yeah, there you go. It's a GOW exchange.
I think the only
Ow.
at some point, I mean, I think the only things that will remain would be the Nintendo stuff, and that's because they've never licensed that, like other than like the shared game, like where you got
The
Sonic
Ubisoft,
the Ubisoft the
Gosh, dang
crossover.
it, I'd love to play Zelda though on
On an Xbox.
like a high performance machine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
yeah,
agree.
baby.
Last news story for me: Peacemaker season 2 filming this summer. Via Jennifer Holland. Loved James Gunn's confirmation of this. He's like, source is a little shaky, but this is true. It jumped Waller. I think that's the interesting news from this. Waller, the writers needed more time, apparently. So Gunn was like, okay, well, Peacemaker's ready. Let's move it up. We'll just shoot it. One of the things he also said is that season 1
Isn't canon.
is not canon to the new content, which I think will be interesting to see how that's. I don't think it'll matter. I think it'll be separate enough from the first season that it won't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the only reason he's saying that is because of the cameos in season 1.
Oh,
Honestly, the other thing he said this week. Look, we don't need to dive into this, but did you see his comments on Grant Gustin?
Mm-mm.
So this was interesting.
Was he like, "Oh, Grant sucks. I hate that guy."
No. So somebody was like, "Hey, would you work with Grant Gustin in the future on a DC project?" And people were like, "Yeah, I can't believe he's not the Flash." Blah 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 blah. And so James Gunn, I guess, felt like he needed to respond to it. I don't know why. I don't know why he entertained it. But he was like, look, Grant Gustin's killing it on Broadway right now. It's not going to hurt his career that he's not in a DC movie. But yes, I want to work with him in the future. And like signed off, and I was like, "Ooh, what the heck?" That's kind of strange, but I think that's probably more credence to where he wants to take the DCU storyline. So I would not be shocked if you get Cavill back in some capacity in the future. I think all that stuff's going to happen at some point.
He should cast Zack Snyder in a DC movie.
Dude, that'd be sick.
He could play Pa Kent.
God, he could play God.
Oh, no.
But that's my last news story. Very quickly, because we are going a little long.
We got another hour
So
left.
what we like to do...
We got to make up for daylight savings.
So what we like to do... Brandon, you've listened to the show, but what we like to do is kind of recap our week. Obviously, you've not been on the show before, but like you can hit a couple things you've done in the last week or two. Like, hey, I played this game, or hey, I watched this show or movie. Luke usually accomplishes way more.
I can go first.
Yeah, go for it.
Because
Yeah.
I actually have not done that much.
Okay.
I've just been watching, I watched a new episode of Shogun and Masters of the Air. Both great.
Master of the Air getting better?
Yeah.
Good.
The first 3 episodes were okay, and the rest has been great.
Awesome.
So,
That's-
Shogun is freaking awesome.
Yeah, I've
It
seen...
is so good.
I've seen a lot of people I follow on Twitter that are not movie and show people talking about Shogun, and they're like, "It's one of them ones." Like it's just like I've only watched the first episode because I've not had time to sit down and watch it, because that is not a show that A, Dana will watch, and B, I'm not gonna watch it when I'm being distracted, because I really, really want to invest myself in it.
And most of it's in a different language.
Yeah, so like you have to read and stuff like that. So it's just hard for me to find time. My hope is Tuesday nights generally Dana's doing small group stuff, so I'm like I have the house to myself. Once the girls are asleep is when I try to watch shows. So I'm hoping tomorrow night I can watch an episode or two. Cool, Brandon.
Let's see. I've already seen it, but my wife and I finished Veep. So I know
Okay.
it's a little bit of an older show. I'd already seen it. She hadn't. And we burned through all 7 seasons very quickly. Holds up very well.
What's the max? It's on
Yeah, it was
HBO?
the HBO original series. So yeah, every bit as funny as it was when I first watched it. And then we dove. I told her she wanted another kind of comedy to watch, and I said you got to watch American Vandal on Netflix.
Oh,
She loves those true crime documentary series, and I mean, depending what they are, I've watched some with her, and we debated True Detective. I already want to watch it. I listened to you guys' episode talking about it. I
about
know-
season 4 or just
yeah,
in
season
general?
4, because she's seen season 1. She did not get through season 2. I've seen all the seasons, and of course we watched season 3. I think of the people on here, I was a little bit more of a fan of season 2, just in terms of I really liked actually just one aspect of season 2, which was we kind of got Colin Farrell's character's his ending before, without really knowing we were getting his ending, and I kind of liked how that worked out.
I think the only thing in it is just so jarring to me is the time jump just messes
Yeah.
with me so much.
I
And I
remember-
can't get over it.
I remember just at the time I was with it, I was like, man, I wish I was on to talk about this with these guys right now. I think the thing I drew to mind when I watched season 2 of True Detective was that like Nick Pizzolatto had so many years to write season 1 and rewrite and go through everything. It's almost like
No, do another season right now.
no, it's almost like a band having 10, 15 years to write their first record, and it's a huge hit. I almost kind of equated to like the Killers having Hot Fuss blow up because they had so many years to write all these hits, and then they turned around and put out Sam's Town within 2 years. And looking back, fans like it now, but at the time it was not
It's like,
well
what
received.
is it?
So it's like you have such a short turnaround time and
Yeah.
without much time to really flesh it out. Anyways, we
And
want to
you have
get
more eyes too.
yeah.
I mean,
and we want to watch True Detective 4, but I was like, I don't know if we need anything super heavy and serious right now. So I was like, you need to watch American Vandal. It's like it's a perfect amount of like you still get that true crime feeling because they really take it seriously,
Yeah.
but it's not worth being taken serious at all.
that's the one where they're like spray painting dicks on stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
that was
with
season
you.
1. There's a second
though.
season.
You have to go like lighthearted, dark, and well, I guess you can just go light if you want to, but like going dark.
Gets heavy.
It's just a little much sometimes.
Yeah. So, anything else?
Not really. Just I mean, the only games I finished Spider-Man 2 a couple weeks ago, so
Nice. Did you enjoy it?
I loved it.
Nice.
I'm diving into New Game Plus.
It's a ton of fun.
Got the Portal, so I'm gonna actually try taking it to work at some point.
Oh, nice.
It's
okay.
been if you're so I don't know how it is at your house, but for me, I can't really go downstairs and game a lot with the kids upstairs. So I just come upstairs with my Portal, and so I've been playing some Madden 24 on it.
Nice.
And it's been nice. It worked very well around the house.
PSP is back.
It could be. So yeah, other than that, just getting back into Madden a little bit, NHL games here and there. That's my gaming output right now.
Love it. So before I go, Baroque said my Shogun tweet for last week's episode got like 200 likes. No big deal.
Look at you. Too good for us, I guess.
He said, and he also said, speaking on exclusivity, if I can't lord Final Fantasy over the X-boners, what do I have, man? I'm nothing without an unearned sense of superiority that I make way too much of my personality.
Well, Final Fantasy 14 is heading to the Xbox.
It's true. I'm playing, so that'll jump in right to what I'm doing. I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
And it sucks.
No, it's incredible.
Oh, okay.
It's so good.
I just took a wild guess.
It's so good. Like, I was kind of, I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but I was saying, like, Remake felt so bold. And now I feel like it's just they played it as safe as possible with Remake, and Rebirth is just so risky. Like, it's so crazy. I think that's awesome.
Man, I've been hearing so many good things about that game.
It's so good. It's so good. I finished True Detective Season 4 and immediately started Season 1, so I'm going Dark, as well as watching Shogun. So
Had you not seen Season 1 yet?
I'd never watched True Detective before,
He's
which is
in for a ride,
crazy.
isn't he?
Which is crazy because it's like the exact kind of show I would love, right? Like, even Season 4, I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is so good. And I know Season 4 does some very different things, I think, than the other seasons do, from what I understand.
Can't speak to. I mean, I loved Season 3, but I'm a huge Mahershala Ali fan, which I don't think anyone in this room probably isn't. I think we all appreciate that
Honestly,
guy's talent.
I can't really stand. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he's freaking
so
awesome.
I mean, seriously hope Marvel does not scrap Blade.
I'm very interested in his Blade.
I can't believe they killed him off in Luke Cage.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
Once they did that show was over.
Wasn't he Copperhead?
Yeah.
he was. Yeah.
Or,
But yeah, I'm surprised you didn't
is
see
that his
him.
name? I don't remember his name.
But yeah, I don't know if it's Copperhead, but it was.
He died, and I lost interest.
I'm surprised you hadn't seen any of the True Detectives. So it'll be interesting if you actually watch Season 2 and get through it to hear what you think about it, because it.
Well, Dana's watching it, and I'm very appalled that she was willing to start Season 1 with me.
Doesn't I gotta wait for it?
Because, well, no, I don't have to. I mean, I could just take off, but she's hooked. Like, she wants to watch it. And I was like, okay. I wouldn't have... Mindhunter was hard for her to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very curious to see how this unfolds.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. But, dude, it's so good. Like, Season 4 was really good. I liked it a lot. For, like, the one episode of Season 1, I was like, oh, this is a different level. Like, this is... We're up here now. And I think Season 4 is great. But, man, it's
think
awesome.
Pizzolatto didn't have anything with Season 4, I don't believe. Yeah, I think after Season 2, he was pretty much done. Maybe he did a little bit on Season 3, but I don't think he served as the primary
He's been
creative.
bashing Season 4 on Twitter.
Which...
That's a whole different box of worms. But, yeah.
It's like, dude, you hit it out of the park with Season 1. People will always remember how great it was, and that it was self-contained. It didn't necessarily need to continue, and that HBO is continuing it, but just more as an anthology. It's super awesome. Like, you helped launch this. No one can take that away from you.
Now move on.
But you chose to do Season 2, kind of a completely different style. You know, I think most people were wanting more of a... Well, I don't want to get... If you're going to...
Yeah, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Like, it's just... It's not the same type of mystery.
It's completely different.
So...
Yeah.
And you made that decision, and you know what? I accepted at face value that it was different, and
I was fine with that decision too.
I watched every single episode, and every week when it was on, I was like, I was still in group because it had a good cast, and the cast helped make it really good.
Yeah.
The help. See, in that one, that's the benefit of having
Rachel McAdams were so good.
Well, and that's the benefit when you have a great cast. You know, a great cast can elevate mediocre writing, and I think that's kind of what ended up happening here. You know, and you know what? Honestly, bold choice to cast Vince Vaughn in a non-comedic role. I'm sorry, like
I will agree with you that it was bold.
I mean, his arc was very messy, but I was not unhappy to see. I mean, I thought he handled it pretty well, to be honest.
I thought he was okay.
Yeah. I'll let you guys know when I get there. And then the last thing I
So
did,
like in 6 months.
probably,
Okay.
Helldivers. Played some more Helldivers this week.
Did you get a mech?
I did. I just want to quickly just shout out how cool their rollout plan was for that DLC, that update.
You want it? Go get it.
Yeah, they were like, "Hey, they're coming soon," and then like randomly on Twitter, their game master guy, because I
Joel?
love, yeah, Joel, yeah, I absolutely love that this is how they do things, and he tweets out the little update thing, and obviously it's a community person, but you get the gist, and it was like, "Hey, the automatons are attacking the planet Tien Quan, where our exosuit patriots are being manufactured. You need to go liberate the planet." And like on the map, you could find a mech and use it if you found it.
Dude,
And when we liberated the planet, the next day we had mech stratagems, and it was like, dude, this is so cool. Coolest implementation of an update I've experienced.
so next time they do something like that, I need your guys' community to just go, let's not.
right?
And see what happens. Or will they just be like,
Okay.
okay, you don't get this cool new thing for 4 months until we, have
another
another
event,
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I just think it's so fascinating as a game that this is a live service game that I think they're doing a good job with. I have gotten so much of the premium currency just from playing. So much. I get it every match. It's awesome. It's awesome. I think if you're going to do it, this is how you do it. And I think it goes back to their director saying, like, you have to earn the right to monetize your game. And I think he's right. I think you have to prove it. And I think they've done a hell of a job. So that's what I've been doing, man. I'm very happy with it. But I think that pretty much wraps us up. Brandon, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Man.
Thanks.
It
Thanks
was
for
awesome
having me.
having you. You definitely have a lot of good insight on the Oscars that we definitely appreciated.
Yeah, I think I watched a third of the movies this year.
So no, it was great having you on, man, and hopefully we can get you on again sometime soon.
Yeah.
I love being here, guys. Thanks. It was a great way to spend my Monday night.
Yeah.
Best
Awesome.
way to spend a Monday night is talking about movies.
With the guys. Heck yeah.
With the boys. But in the meantime, thank you everybody for watching. Thanks for the chatters. We appreciate you. Brett will be back next week, and the episode will improve tenfold.
From a technical quality, yes.
He and his wife were texting during.
Yeah, if you heard the chime in the background, it was from Brett's computer.
Should have just read all of them out loud. No, we won't do that. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Until next week.
We will see you.
Goodbye.
You gotta hit the button.
Oh yeah. Goodbye. It froze.
That should do it.
Oh, okay. Finish
And
the
then
check.
stop the recording.
Oh.
So I don't say anything that incriminates me.